so important to us. And I'd like to finish with this. There's this movie about immortality. I like the Greek philosophers. They wrote nice stories. So there's this hero called Achilles. So Achilles was like a soldier who was born in times of war. Now the mother, because she was scared, she was told that if you want this guy to live to be mortal, you'll have to dip her in the river so that it can be immortal. But because the mother was scared, he left the Achilles. That's why it's called Achilles. The Achilles, which was the weak point. Now, when Achilles was marching, he was supposed to go to Troy. And the mother told him, if he goes there, he'll die, but he'll be remembered forever. That was the price of glory, because you'll be immortal. So the minute he was charging, he was telling his soldiers, he's telling, don't no one forget how menacing we are. We are lions. We need to charge beyond those horizon and everything and take immortality. Immortality is yours now. Take it. It's yours. Thanks again.
Interesting. Hey. Let's see if we can have a few more people speak. And then we close this up. We've had a very good discussion. Very, very balanced discussion. I like to have a balanced discussion where it's not just one way, it's people having different thoughts. Thank you to JN, to Jose Ireri. I'll have to let you guys go so that I can bring a few more people in. Madofolo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, man. How are you?
I'm easy. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. There was something McKenna was saying about you and McKenna had a back and forth about who we should be able to allow to be part of this particular movement. It goes on to say like there's a thin line of knowing who is genuine about the intentions of joining the movement or not. So kuna wale watu ambao you will have to vet them first and know maybe they are past. Maybe ingekuwa before the era of whatever we have this particular information, it would have been hard to be able to know who is genuine and wants to join into this particular movement. And then I'll pass my condolences to the families that have lost people and all the bodies being found in the quarry and all that. Now, there's something interesting. I don't know if all of you all have also noticed. Why are there, government blockers who want to counter how these bodies, were killed or that? It doesn't matter if these were protesters or they were not. It just goes on to show how incompetent the state and the police are, because all those people missing, and we have never had information come out. Even the police come out with that report saying there are these people who reported in this particular police station. 3 bodies there. This person is missing. This person is missing, and then a report has come out and said these people are this total number of people are missing, and we are looking for them or something like that. It had to take for the protest and the other people being abducted and go missing and others being found in different places for us to be able to realize there are people or there are dead bodies in the quarry. It is not right. Life is life. It doesn't matter how that particular person died, whether it is a cult, whether it is a rogue doctor, whether they died in the protest, whether that kind of way. So it is actually wrong for the government or any other person to come and dispute and say, yeah, you were protesters. It was, it is something different. Even if it is something different, it shows the incompetence of the state and the police. Now, I also wanted to, nataka just briefly to touch on, the dialogue and all that. I was listening to Spice FM in the morning, and there's a speaker who said that since 2006, there have been 26 reports that reports the Ziko and their gathering, and none of them has ever been implemented at all. Hata zifunguliwi. So there is also one report that is very, very emotive. Now, hiyo ni Ndungu Lands report. The government and the elites and anybody else, they have made sure that that report will never be opened or will never be discussed, because if it does, the people like the Kenyatas, the Kina Ruto, Kina Raila, I believe they are in the mix because of grabbing of land and all that, even state land that they took and all that particular shit. So they are avoiding. So there is no need for people to go and dialogue, and then after dialogue, it's just for the purpose of them, sharing a few seats here and there. But I'm glad that this particular movement has told them, even if you go and talk and decide that you want to form a government of national unity, we are not going to stop at that. It will still continue the same way that we are, this thing is going on. So it doesn't matter if you go there and share your positions, you share them, that's okay. But the movement and the cause will continue. And if you look at, there was a time Kanye West was on an interview and he said, I don't listen to old people. The only people with ideas are the young people. He meant something when he actually said that. I'm not saying that we don't listen to our parents, but when you look at whatever is going on currently right now, old people feel like such movements or such incidences or such causes, they just destabilize their normal way of life, and they want a normal life. They can actually be able to afford to get state appointments, and all that, continue stealing money. This has disrupted a lot of stealing. It has disrupted a lot of illegal appointments, and other illegalities that the elites have been doing. So when we say we do not want to deal with older people, it shows that older people, like for example, Oburu Odinga also said, I heard his interview. Alisema, I am not afraid. I am 80 years old. I am not afraid of anything. So we should just go on and and dialogue and have this particular conversation. You see, you can clearly see he doesn't have long enough to live. He's closer to his grave than we are to our own. Maybe through a bullet that maybe will hit us if we go onto the streets. But he doesn't have long enough. But we have some of us, we have a long way to go. We have a long, if we will not die of maybe cancer or a bullet or anything else, we have a long way to go. And that's why we are afraid. We are afraid, what will our future look like? What will I look like when I'm at the age of Oburu Odinga? Will I still be struggling? Will I be, still trying to find work and do all that? So there is a reason why young people are out here. They are looking for a future whereby they know that ikifika 60, I am living in a good country whereby nitakuwa nimetengeneza pesa yangu, I can actually retire peacefully and leave, pass the mantle to the kids or to other people. So the reason why, basically, that is just what I wanted to touch on about. But the story, a dialogue, we will just dialogue again and then go back and listen to them. But I'm glad that people have refused this, and it's not going to happen. So thank you.
All right. Thanks, Madofolo. Appreciate that submission. It's very interesting. You guys have some serious submissions, bro. Liz Nash, are you here? Malo.
Yes. Andrew Kibe, how are you?
Great. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So, guys, what you're seeing in our country is really saddening. It's very painful. And it's even more painful that the government itself does not give a damn about what's really going on. For example, I mean, what has been happening in Kware, bodies are being found, but even the county government cannot deliver or just bring the emergency services team, which actually we are the people who are paying those taxes. That is a fully funded section of the government. But you still find that people who are actually depressed at home, people who have issues, people who are actually, are not supposed to be doing that work, are the ones who have been put to collect those bodies from those dump sites. The risks that have been involved, they have not even been provided with safety gears, with anything. Like, we are doing these things, we are like, it's like we are on our own. And it is very painful that today, when I think we saw a report that actually the dump site was set on fire. So you kind of start to think of what is really happening. If the government is saying that this thing has been, someone has been on a killing spree, killing women, and they all of a sudden they have someone that they have actually arrested, and then this guy comes all of a sudden and say he has killed 42 people, including his wife, and the government cannot give us information about this guy, who was his wife, who are these people, where were they reported. There is no any report. There is nobody who has actually come to say, this, our daughter was married to some guy like this and went missing, and we've never seen any report like that. So it's really sad that we as the people of Kenya cannot trust anybody. We cannot trust government institutions. We cannot trust any government machinery. And more so, we cannot trust the government, the opposition. If you look at, yesterday, Raila, I think, went to Kware. I don't know what was the motive behind, grown-ups actually deciding, let's go to Kware on a public rally with the, opposition leaders. We're on their vehicles to go and just speak nonsense to people. Like, Raila himself knows very well that so many people have been killed because of Raila Amolo Odinga. But when all this started, when things started going south, of course, it should go south like that. Now you realize that now these people have actually been together. They have not been in opposition or whatever we people think that is what has been happening. The opposition, the political class, and those who have been in the government, these people are one thing. And what happens is that all the deals that happen in the government, they are all aware of it. And what happens is that they get silenced because they know how they're going to earn from it. Otherwise, outside here, the only power this political class have is through dividing people. And they have always used tribalism as the main weapon. They use tribalism because they know, previously, like our parents and the old guys, like this thing is in their head. It is in their head that whenever anything happens that it's going to shake the status quo of these politicians and stuff, they start the issue of tribalism. And then they turn people against each other. And from that, they can do whatever they want. I mean, it's just, divide and rule? That's what they have been doing. And when people realize that this is what these guys have been doing, now you realize that nobody wants to listen to the opposition, nobody wants to listen to anyone in the government, and now they go together. They now go and meet and say, we are going to put ourselves together, create a government of national unity. And you wonder, like, is these people think we want a government of national unity? No, we want a system that is working, a system that is able to deliver. I mean, the things that is going around in this system is just too wrong. People like Mokomen are actually selling our airports here, and we are just here, we are just quiet. People actually using over 900 million on travel, and we are just quiet. So this movement, like, let us never give up. It is so painful. I know they will still kill people. They will do whatever they've been instructed to do. And the reason why I am very skeptical about these things that come from the DCI or DPP, I don't know, these guys. Like, I don't know why these guys are still in the office. People are being killed to this level, but William Ruto cannot even give a direction or an order for these people to be arrested. When the acting AG came in, he decided to send the police officers who were in just some few meters from the quarry that they've been transferred. No, that was the wrong thing. He wasn't supposed to do, like transfer where? These guys were supposed to be resigned from work, and they were supposed to be detained until we get a concrete, like a robust information of what has been really happening. Because this is a system that these people are involved. You cannot tell me that people are being killed in Nakuru, people are being killed in Nairobi, because in Nakuru as well, we've seen some bodies are being picked. This thing is something that is being coordinated within the national government, and those who are actually in doing this are these people in the security, these senior officials in the security. They're the ones who gives orders before someone is killed, and we will go for them as well. We won't stop. And I think this thing of abduction, I mean, we as the public needs to figure out a way how we need to handle things to do with abduction. People cannot come where people actually live, in an estate, and then you go and you don't have any uniform, you don't have any arrest warrant, we don't know, like nobody can say you are actually a police. Time is very odd. You have come to arrest somebody who has never been involved in a criminal activity. You want to abduct that person and go with him, and then that's just like that, he disappears. I feel that to some extent we need to start handling these people who really abduct people as thieves, because there is a difference between making noise that, oh, stop abducting, stop, and there's a difference when now you guys come out and say these are thieves, because they are thieves. They're stealing our men, they're stealing our women, they're stealing and going chopping them. They are thieves. And when we go, the emotions that come in when thieves, it makes it easy for the public to actually react. They can have the gun, they can have the guns, but as long as you are a thief, you are a thief. Mob justice. I mean, that's what I think. Maybe we should somehow think of that. If we are able to do something like that, because at this rate, when we are just making noise and looking at them, they think we can't do anything, and they continuously abduct people, and it's not going to stop. And I can tell you for free, all these abductions have been authorized by William Ruto. He has these people everywhere. Even I'm very sure in this space, he has these people who are listening to people, collecting information, taking them to, and then they decide, go for these people, go for this person. William Ruto knows everything around these things. And that's why we are saying Ruto must go. The hashtag of Ruto must go is not just Ruto must go. The whole system, it is a system overhauling the whole system, the corrupt system that has been putting us into, this kind of a cage where we have to be beggars. And it is very painful that the old generation really don't care about these things. Like I saw Sudi telling people like, najua nyinyi mkisimama hapa mko na njaa, and people are clapping. Really? People are clapping. We saw this guy akona this MP with Sujui Wanjiku, whatever. You are hoarding food for people who have been affected by natural disasters. Until you are called out, you even get your trucks to go and steal it at night, and then that person comes in that grouping, and people actually are clapping. We have a problem, and I hope this problem will be sorted by this generation. For us, we love to support, we will have to go to street, and we hope that we get what we are really looking for. This whole system has to go home. Thank you.
You there? Shikuku. Thank you, Malo.
Thank you, Kibe, for the chance to speak. Mine, I'm going to touch on the issue of knowledge. First of all, is knowledge, because any revolution without knowledge is always becomes stillborn, and that's why you can see revolutions like that have been stillborn, like in Tunisia, like in Sudan. The knowledge is important, and how is it important? The forefront of organizing a revolution should have an idea party rule ended and the new gave it to others to execute. So right now, the danger that Gen Z are looking at right now is that they will bake this cake. The cake will be cooked very well, a very nice fruit cake or any cake for that matter. And when it reaches the time of the actualization of it, it will be left in other people's hands. How can they stop that from happening? I think one way to stop that is if tomorrow and the days after they push and get everything that they really wanted, they should take political power. How do they take political power? We should look at our campaign financing, because if, for example, the parliament was dissolved, how will the Gen Zs and the millennials come into the picture? They can only come into the picture by acquiring political power. And how will they acquire that? They are short on resources. How do they get those resources? They'll have to raise those resources. And now is where campaign financing comes in. That we have been doing it here in Kenya. Bought you, they bought the voter. And that's why they're arrogant. This arrogance does not stem from something. This arrogance is stemming from the fact that they know they are in those positions they are in because they gave the people money. Ndio kwa sababu wanawatapikia. How do you end your kutapikiwa? Is by making sure if someone is running for political office, let them be sponsored by the people. Let people raise money to fund candidates. Because when we raise money to fund candidates, that's the moment the candidates will feel an obligation towards us. Because you, for example, ukienda pale Biashara Street or Kimathi Street in those nice suit shops, you buy 3 pairs of suits, and then the guy looks at you, Mwindi looks at you and says, nitakupa moja free. You will never forget that place. Kipita pale, whether with your girlfriend or somebody else, you'll always tell them, that's Sharamji Punja, that guy there, he gave me a suit for free. You'll always remember. And that's what we need to do to our political leaders. They have to see that the position they occupy is courtesy of us, and that's the way we make it through campaign financing. And then this revolution will not be stillborn, will not be left in the hands of the people who are not part of the movement to benefit from it. That's why ODM, that's the only stop will stop Kina ODM, all these other political actors, because right now they are just smiling. They know even if parliament is dissolved, even anything, if Ruto goes, we are still the guys who will execute this thing. That's one thing that is making them comfortable, and that's why you can see watu wanashangaa mbona hii arrogance haijapotea. That's the reason why, because they know when it reaches crunch time, when it reaches to the votes, it will be their money will talk for them, and they will be back in the same position, and they will be laughing all the way. So the only way to stop them is to go in there and to take that power, and we sponsor ourselves. We treated our sick, our dead were buried, our sick were treated, because we financed it ourselves. Why can't we do the same for the political seats, and then make this revolution a real revolution by us getting in there and doing it ourselves? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bwana Shikoku. That was, that last part, make it a real revolution by going in there and doing it ourselves. Understand that part, my people. Going in there and doing it ourselves. You cannot order anyone to fight the revolution for you. You cannot order anyone into the revolution. Whatever it is that you feel so strongly about, you must fight it yourself. You must fight for it yourself. That should be the message for today. All right, thank you, Shikoku. That's a wonderful message. Let's hear from this person who came running. Gunia Jr., go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Kibe. I'm glad to be here. I've been here for hours. I've been listening to everybody and taking notes. Actually, I have a book and a pen. I've been taking notes every single step of the way because I felt like the conversation we are having is very important and I have to be here until I share my thinking. One thing I like about this space is because everyone is protected. So when somebody is speaking, you can't be interrupted until you finish. So it's very, very, very good. Number one, you want independent view that we have on this situation. I will have a divergent view from whatever I've been listening to. Number one, Gen Z are good people. But I time somebody call them for who they are. A coup is a coup. It doesn't matter it comes from where. A cause is a cause. Gen Z cannot be that everything they say that is the right thing. That if you want to differ with them in any way, even if you want to give a different view, you are a bad person, you have to be greeted, you have to be done what. It doesn't mean that we don't agree with the cause. We do. I support 100% the cause. But we must agree on the modalities. You just don't bulldoze everything. They say in African society that what an old man sees when sitting down, a young man cannot see standing up. If you remember, those people that we are castigating, yes, we can disagree with them, but I've never seen somebody literally holding Gen Z's castration camps the way they used to do to Mau Mau. Those guys were fighting real wars. So as much as we say they didn't do much, because of them, we have a country today. So as we progress, we say, okay, fine, they fought their bit, they did what they could. Now we pick it from here and we continue. When we leave the Mau Mau generation alone, because Kibe, you don't like us talking about history that we can't verify. Whatever I'm talking about is basic knowledge. I don't want to go into details. They were arrested, put into castration camps, did whatever, but we still had, actually, they slept in the bush. Now we have a country. We talk about the millennials and Nayo generation Yumayao. I've not seen Ruto having a castration camp. These guys had a Nyayo house, literally operating as a government entity. Ukiongea unapelekwa. I've never seen a Gen Z going there. So as much as we are saying our fathers fail, remember, it is because of their voices and them being detained, some killed and whatever. The ones went to the street. Akina Orengo now we are talking about in the Sabasaba, whatever, is the reason why we have the freedom of speech. It was never there. Today we can speak and call ourselves Gen Z and have space for the media, whatever. This is because of their contribution. So as much as we are trying to tell them where they failed and they went wrong, some respect must be put in those words and how we operate. Not like just bulldozing everything. Ukiambiwa hapa mnaenda sana, wewe ni mbaya, we have to greet you. You understand? Now, moving on, because we touch so many things, I'll try to speak as fast as I can, touch on as many subjects as I can so that I can give other people also time to speak. It's just that I waited for long. There is what we call parenting. Wezi tuambia, you see, the way we were raised, you couldn't raise your voice to an adult ukiongea naye, lazima unyenyekee ukiongea na mzazi. Actually, we were even being beaten by neighbors ukilelewa. And remember, saa hii we have GenZs, ukimpoint macho wewe anakupeleka kotini. Umeweka GenZ wamekuwa so entitled that they can't be corrected. The level of which at which they drink, the level at which they have immorality, the level at which they do every single thing. Alafu ati GenZ hawezi ambiwa. That is the reason why we have people being killed ovyo ovyo, because you can't tell a GenZ when in msichana, stay at home, go to school, and this one. They are hiding at night, going to parties. They sneak at night. They are looking for expensive life they can't afford. They have weirdos who are sneaking them in some apartments. They're getting killed there. Now suddenly you want to blame a DCI at somebody should resign. Wait, you leave the comfort of your parents. You ignore the advices unapewa kwa society because you believe you cannot be told. You find ladies insulting people, slapping all over, and now akipelekwa ka apartment mahali akauliwa, suddenly now we are supposed to blame DCI, we are supposed to blame everyone. It's a bad parenting. We have unfortunate incidences where somebody is just genuine. Now we have malicious people in the society. So we have to accept both. Now, talk about the leadership, where this thing ilikuwa the key, how do you call it? The backbone of the conversation. We have been tested. We have young leaders who are pushing for young leaders. Remember, everybody who is watching, as much as those old, we are the majority, but they also have a say, they have a stake, they have resources that we don't have, they have experience. You cannot disregard history and say, Hakuna kitu wanajua. They can see where we are going. They have fought these wars. It's just that the enemy is different. Now, we have Africans, Kenyans, wanatufanya ujinga. Wale walikuwa na whites and some collaborators, all right? So, remember, they know where we are headed. We just need to be smart, learn, and plan. Leadership, you have been tested. Angalia Senate. Somebody mentioned Karen Nyamu. Is she not a young lady? Angalia chenye anatufanyia kwa bunge. Anafanya hata the people who are like having faith in young leadership. They're like, so these are the people we tested. Look at the nonsense we are dealing with. Look at Salasia. Always drinking na vodka and all those things. Look at people like we have Nyamu, Salasia, people like Sudi. Sudi is not so old, but suddenly it's a billionaire doing bullshit. The young leaders who have gotten the opportunity to do something have really tainted our image. That even when you are talking about the leadership, there's some stigma wanakuangalia nayo. So we have to work extra hard to clean ile ujinga wamefanya. Unaona? And so when we talk about the tribalism ambayo hatuna, tumezaliwa Nairobi, tunalelewa hata tujuangi mtu ni kabila gani. Mpaka later on in life, I don't know who trains them on this thing. Tribalism itaisha tu when we implement what we call the constitution. Gen Z can push whoever they want to push. As a matter of fact, they have nobody to push. Ni kuongea tu, sasa hata Ruto akitoka leo, they have nobody kuweka kwa hiyo kiti. Cabinet hakuna. The only way, hata huyo tunataka kuweka, these people change. Hata leo tukichukua the biggest Gen Z fan and follow and whatever, ukiweka State House, once power imeingia na hiyo trappings, they forget. The only way we can be safe, whether from Gen Z, whether from millennials, whether from whoever, is we insist on the implementation of constitution to the latter. Be it witch rule, be it corruption, be it appropriation of funds, be it allocations, be it appointments. Tukisema huyu mtu ako na rekodi mbaya, somebody mentioned Obado. Obado ako na hii na hii na hii, afai hold any seat. We implement the constitution, afai. Somebody mentioned Waluke, I don't know that guy who was jailed for many years. Suddenly ako bado mbunge hapa. Those are the things we push for. But today, if we make Ruto one man an enemy, remember Ruto did not have resources to get there. It's us, the Gen Z hustlers, who pushed this guy to get there. Now akifika pale akatugeuka. Ali promise nobody's going to die under his leadership. Suddenly mnaokota mamwili. The thing is, Ruto cannot be everywhere. It is us to help him succeed or we push him to fail. His failure, as much as people will clap, trust you me, his failure will trickle down to us. But our responsibility as Kenyans, responsible citizens, we have to advise each other, we have to listen to each other, we have to push the leader who is there to succeed by holding him accountable. Na akikataa, venye Ruto amekataa. That is the reason I'm supporting Gen Z. Amekataa because ameambiwa na njia zote amekataa. Now we push them. The MPs we are talking about did not give a damn about what we are dealing with until wakaanza kusalimiwa. It means we have the power to hold them accountable. But lazima tukue na limits because the precedents we are setting is that if you don't agree with the leader, you go in the streets, ng'ang'ana tolewe. The billionaires will be using this any day they have a deal. This thing, Jimmy Wanjigi was accused of this yesterday. Why is Jimmy Wanjigi speaking now? Was he not part of this? Jimmy Wanjigi has a clear history of everything which has been happening in this country. Tangu wakati wa Moi, Kibaki, he's been a wheeler dealer here. Suddenly wakati wa Ruto, now he's giving clear picture of what has been happening, what is happening, and what should happen. Where has he been all this time? So if we set a precedence that when you don't agree with the president, sponsor youth, give them billions, let them go to the street, then the president is out. This is the trend that we are trying to set in the country. The same thing with the military. Kenya has been very stable. They tried it in 1982, it failed. We can't have military on the streets. Once they test the power, wameonja tu kidogo wanaona kumbe hii kitu inawezekana. All you need to do is capture military and you'll be overthrowing the president when you feel like. Kenya, we have a democratically elected president. We can force him to do the right thing. We did, and we have seen it. He dropped the bill by force. He fired the cabinet by force. We can insist on the wachana na Raila. Raila is irrelevant. Once wamechagua hiyo cabinet, we will do the same thing we are doing. Wataenda wote. Tutawagreed, tutafanya everything. But we insist, once a president is elected, the only way to get them out is through the constitutional means. We vote them out. And if not, then we force them to do the right thing. But we cannot allow Gen Z to bring a tendency ya kwamba if you don't agree with something, however bad it is, lazima iende na ukikataa unagritiwa. Unagritiwa by who? We also fought our fights. And we also have a generation coming, they will fight their fights. So we support them, we agree with them. Mi nitakuwa kesho kwa maandamano, but we have to be reasonable. We have to listen to the voice of reason. Tukiambiwa you are going too much, listen. Kida akikwambia hapa iko hivi, we listen, we reason together, but not being lynched because we disagree. I can pause there so can somebody can talk a little bit as I put my thoughts together on what I missed, please.
All right. Who wants to counter that? I think Dike Bon, or how do you pronounce this? Bonen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
how do you pronounce that? Your name?
Adiki Bonen, hiyo tu vile nilisema. Yes, so
All right, go ahead.
I want to say kwanza to Gunia, how to respond to that. I think number one, you're wrong. We do not need a leader in this Gen Z movement because if we have a leader, then the guy will be corrupted. He'll be atapatiwa pesa. So I think for now, I think we're doing good as well. Also, another thing I want to say, we don't need an opposition because those guys, the Kinaudingas, the Bugunas, they've stolen our money there. So we need somebody fresh, someone young when 2027 comes, we will know what to do. But for right now, as the movement is going on, we don't need nobody in this fight at the moment. Let us keep on fighting this fight together, Pomoja as youths, and we'll be giving the president pressure even because he can't control the millions in this fight. He cannot. And also, I want to say easy my bloggers wamelipwa. We're going to say patana naye salamu pia, like the hotels and those guys. And also Andrew, I like what you're doing, but also kama wewe ukupata if you change your dialogue utapata salamu and even warning too. Asanteni.
Kibe, if you allow me to respond, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody is telling you we keep moving. Moving where? I didn't even talk about us having leadership. I said we listen to voice of reason. This Otero guy saw that it was relevant for him to listen to what Ruto has to say. whether it's wrong or right. Now you are being told as Andrew Kibe, if you are invited somewhere and you see wisdom, ukuje unisikize, what am I saying? You are giving me an opportunity to, even if it's to resign. So I have to be given an opportunity to resign. Now hiyo unafaa kusalimiwa. You are telling the Gen Z to move forward. Move forward to where? Move forward to do what? And I've not said that we're a leader. I've just said, do not move with a pace where we don't even know, have clear demands what we want from the president himself. Is there elected democratically? This is the kind of leadership we are. Okay, what are we training for this young generation now? When you look at them, Kibe, honestly, when you look at these people, Anifa talked about something, Kidogo, she's being lynched. Cairo was there doing, I don't know, whatever. Kidogo is being lynched. And Kibe, by the way, I have to call you out on this. Last time you called these people to come here, you have somebody like Makoure. I heard he kidnapped himself. So next day akisema amekidnap you, how will we know it's the truth? They are greedy for attention. You call them for constructive dialogue forum ambayo kuna watu wengi tukuje tuongee tusikizane. They did not show up. And then you make them feel like now the queens, they're the kings, they're the whatever. Then suddenly huko ndo wanaenda kununuliwa. I'm glad the movement is going on without them. But I'm trying to say we must have voice of reason. Hata nikitaka kuongea na wewe Kibe, you can't listen to 5 million people. Somebody must speak to you. Who will you speak to? Because nobody wants to hear you. Ruto was put there by some people. They are forcing him to do things he want to do. And I gave you people a different perspective on this thing. I told you that if Ruto could have woken up in the morning and said, I'm closing up ofisi ya Uhuru ya mama yake ya kina Raila huko prime minister and whatever, nyinyi ndio munge riot. Angesema if you are 60 years and above, enda nyumbani, nyinyi ndio munge riot. What if Ruto set up the Gen Z so that he does the right thing, but by the people's power? He said the conversation will not be about tribes anymore, it will be about the things. Are we not doing that right now? Alisema takata budget hizi vitu. He's doing it, maybe not the way people expected. Remember, these ministers anafukuza financed one way or the other for Ruto to get there. Aizi amka tu asubuhi aseme, you people must go home. He can't. But right now, he has the right to do it because it's Gen Z demanding. Anawambia, it is not me, I gave you the job. You helped me, I got to the presidency, I gave you the job. Gen Z ndo akutaki, sio mimi. Akisema Raila, mimi nilikupea ofisi. Mudavadi nilikupea bibi yako. Uhuru niliwapatia zenyu. Lakini Gen Z wamekata akakata. If we push Ruto the way we are doing, trust you me, by 2027 we'll have the best president ever following the constitution, budget imekatwa, anatusikiza by force, and nobody will blame Ruto for anything because it's the Kenyans demanding. So we look at these things from different perspectives. Don't think government is stupid. These are long-armed oil machines. They can see you coming miles away. So don't think this. Not the president. I'm telling you, Gen Z is a small 3 days, this Gen Z thing will be dead. So, we reason.
Tunajua the mtu wa status. Tunajua hizo games. Tunajua the status. Something from status.
What are you saying about State House?
You're part of them, one. Eh? You're part of them.
It is fine. If my difference in opinion makes me into a State House, it's okay. But I remember Matiang'i being here. Matiang'i was so vocal. Matiang'i was doing the right thing. Okay, for example, who would we want to be our candidate right now? That because I have this LSK lady, she's doing a good job, but leo akitaka kusimama tu kitu ndio makosa zake zitaonekana. But when we see somebody who has a goodwill, someone like Matiang'i, who has a voice of command, who sees sense in reasoning, those are the people we front. Lakini now we guide them, because what I'm trying to tell you is that even the angel we are dealing with today, once ameingia State House, atakuwa mtu tofauti. What will we do then? Are we going to be rioting every day? So what measures are we putting in place to make sure that whoever comes in ameendelea? And I'm also saying, Mwafrika, we can't be that because you have disagreed with the president, the next course of action ni kwa street na kumtoa nje. I said we are setting a bad president, that some 2-3 billionaires watakuwa wanaungana wanatoa presidents every day. The same thing I said with the military. If you have control of a military, we will not control the country. And Kenya, we have been disciplined. That is why we have been growing stability and everything. We can't go that route. So Gen Z cannot take us there because they're saying they're sacrificing and whatever. Hakuna mtu aliweka watu kwa station camps kama mababu za wale wa Kikuyu walikuwa nawekwa tembe na ma-ID. Hakuna mtu amepeleka watu Nyayo House. So we agree, yes, they have gone to school, which it is us. Wazendo wamewapeleka shule. Hawakujipeleka. But at the end of the day, yes, they have legitimate concerns. They have legitimate war. Pigana na heshima, we need Kenya tomorrow. You can't burn everything down because Gen Z wanaongea. Okay, so yes, we will support. We will make sure Ruto does the right thing. And if we were tired of him, tukapiga kura atoke nje. But kungoa watu kwa state house hii upuzi hii, naona watu wanasema tuende tuchome state house, tuende tufanye nini? Kesho tutabaki na nini? How will you rule kama kesho your son will be the president? Today is Ruto, tomorrow it's me or my son. Is this what we are setting the country for? And then we need to discipline these people. Kibe used to host very serious topics. I don't know why you stopped. Where you used to call out women who misbehave and men who misbehave. Ukishajipeleka kwa ujinga, you don't go and do stupid things and then kesho you blame the government. You fuck old people, you hide with them in apartments, you demand a lot of money that they can't afford. Their wives find out, they look for you, they kill you, then suddenly you blame the government. Really? Really? You demand more money than you agreed. Then huku mnakosana na kunyonga. Suddenly the government is the problem. Really? Sasa zingine watu waambiane ukweli. There's so much that these people are doing. I'm not saying the DCI is perfect. Kuna wale wajinga ya ajabu wa kukidnap watu na kufanya upuzi. Hao wako hapo. But I can tell you, as you speak here, there are people losing their lives every day from Somalia to Northeastern so that you can have this space to talk freely. Otherwise, see, barabara ingekuwa inapitwa na Al-Shabaab. You don't know how many bombs wameokoa hapa bila kuongea. Mnaona tu 2-3 ile imepita. But zile zimezuilia watu wakikufa kufanya hiyo kazi. You don't know. So you have to appreciate as we disagree. That is the only thing I'm saying. I agree with Gen Z. But we have to have controlled freedom. Si kurukaruka hiyo ovyo tukikataa unasalimiwa. Salimia nani bwana?
Who is of a contrary opinion?
Wakuje Kibe na substance. Let them come na substance.
Kibe, let me proceed. Kibe, discussion tumekuwa na wewe for a while now. Stick nikisema leader wa Gen Z ni President William Samoei Ruto. Na ndazidi kusema hivyo. Na ndawapea mfano mzuri, wanasema kwamba fisi akitaka kukula mwanawe huwa anasema hawa watoto wangu wananuka mbuzi. Sasa mbuzi hapa ni hii system yetu mbaya, ama hawa system tuko nayo ni mbaya. Sasa president anafanya nini? Anajaribu kuonyesha kwa hawa vijana, anawaambia hii system ni mbaya hapa. So kitu anajaribu kufanya ni kutuambia kwamba system ni mbaya, tufanye nini? Enda muandamane. Mkiandamana alafu anafaya mtu fulani, ana correct hiyo makosa iko hapo. But hataki kuangalia in that direction. Huyu jamaa akikuja alikuwa na campaign akituambia bottom up economy. Mama mboga na bodaboda wapate pesa kwa mfuko. Look at that perspective. Mama mboga na bodaboda watapataje pesa kama bado tunatumia system ya kitambo yenye tuko na viongozi MP kwa parliament na ma senators. Ni kama viazi. These are waru ukiweka kwa mafuta inakuwa chips. Ukiweka kwa maji inakuwa viazi ya kubondeka. Sasa Ruto ni kama moto. System ya kwanza yenye tunatumia saa hii ni maji. Yenye ukiweka viazi ndani yenye sisi tunatumia, tunataka uongozi, tunataka tuingie kwa powers, ni maji yenye si ni viazi tuko ndani. Tunataka tukue chips lakini kwa maji. Haiwezekani. For us to be chips lazima tubadilishe system ama tubadilishe maji tuingie kwa mafuta, and that's what Ruto is trying to do. Anajaribu kuambia system imeharibika. Hii system haiko inafanya kazi. What should I do? He's trying to change everything. But tumekataa. Mfano mwingine ndio huu. Yeye ametukalisha chini anatuambia ni kama wazazi wetu kwa nyumba wametuambia, babako amekalisha chini anakuambia ukijenga nyumba, jenga nyumba ukijua iko na bedroom yako, bedroom ya kijana, bedroom ya wasichana na bedroom moja ya wageni. Lakini unamwambia hapana, mimi sitaki. Mimi nataka kujenga nyumba yangu peke yangu yenye ni bed sitter. Sitaki wageni. Sasa nakujaribu kuambia in future utakuwa na watoto, utakuwa na wageni, wataishi wapi? Alafu unamwambia unaanza kutumia ma F words. I don't want to listen to you. We kwenda ati wacha nikusalamie. Tunajua kwamba as we grow lazima uta-accommodate mtu mmoja ama watu wawili. So as much as tunajaribu kuona makosa iko hapa ama tunajaribu kusema GenZ are doing this thing and thing. Hii game ni game ya President Ruto na Ruto anatakia mazuri ya hii taifa. Unaona kitu yote na happen ni triggers tu zina happen. Akiona makosa place yote ana trigger youth, then youth wakienda streets ana act. Wacha niwaulize, tumekuwa na Shakahola issues. Watu wangapi walikufa? Hamuongelee kitu amuoni kama ni big deal. Lakini sasa tunaona mili inatolewa kwa damu yenye watu 40 ndio mnalia, lakini tumesahau ya Shakahola. Watu wangu wa Kenya bana. Hatuwezi kumbuka hiyo. So for us to see this thing ama to kuona hivi vitu vizuri, tuache kwa mtu akikucontradict ama akuwe na counter opinion. Usione mtu kwa adui uanze kumtusi ati fuck you, we don't care. No. Listen. Because the issue is tukiendelea kusema GenZ mnasema mnataka mchukue uongozi. Mnachukua uongozi mnaingia hapo. Okay, what next? System bado ni ile ile. Mtakuwa bado warutu viazi ile ya maji. But you want to be chips. Eka mafuta, wacha kuweka maji. Na maji hapo na mafuta ni nini? Constitution. So as much as nasema mnataka mwingie hapo. Okay, wacha sema leo hizo ma CS post waseme saa hizi ziko vacant, apply. Wangapi mta apply na itachukua watu wangapi? Hiyo CS post itachukua watu seme watu 1000 na mko watu 5,000,000 au wengine 4,000,000 na kitu wataenda wapi? What if hiyo pesa narrow down ifikie mtu wako kwa ground kabisa, ule mama mboga na boda boda? Si kutakuwa na equality? You people say you want equality, but hii system ya saizi hai give room for equality. So as much as unataka equality, angalia ni system ndio mbaya ama ni kiongozi ndio mbaya. As I end, I'll repeat what I said before. President Ruto is the leader of GenZ, but you don't want to see it or you are not seeing it. He's using you to make sure that you get that thing. Mama mboga na boda boda, bottom up thing. Sikuwa namuelewa aki-campaign lakini sasa inaanza kuona ni ukweli. Thank you for now.
Na mko na maono sana.
Kibe can ask a question.
A very short question. I want to hear from the ladies now.
Or I can let the lady go. I'm just being accused of being a sleuth and government agent, so that's what I wanted to respond to. If you allow me, I can.
No. You don't have to respond to that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, to be a government agent is okay, right? Isn't it? It should be okay. I mean, just because me and you are battling doesn't mean that we're going to go kill each other just because one person comes from a different place and another one does something different. We must learn how to work together. That's the thing. We must learn how to work together and how to tolerate each other, even with our differences. That if somebody is working for the government, that person is not your enemy. Because some of these people are your parents. Some of these people are your brothers and sisters, your uncles. So it's not unto death. It's just that you guys have different ideologies. Some of these people who work in government actually support the GenZ movement. Some of them are suffering more than you through this corruption. There's a cop friend of mine who was telling me the other day that they cannot even get promotions because the promotions have all been directed to one group of people. So some of these people that you're accusing being in government and pushing a certain narrative are actually suffering just like you, hoping that you could save them. So do not look at people as your enemy. Let your enemy declare they're your enemy. That's how you know this person is my enemy. Wajiro, what do you have to tell us?
Kibe, I'd wish to disagree with some of the sentiments that have been shared because incompetency is incompetency. And for those of us who've worked in private sector, incompetency is incompetency. Sai nikipewa kazi nishindwe kufanya, it's either they'll force me out or I will have to write a resignation and get out. The problem with our government currently is incompetency is tokenized. So mtu anakalia kiti. I was listening to Mother Karu, and she of all the many things she said, she made one very good statement. When she was the Minister of Justice, she said, I had worked with Kibaki closely for years, but at one point I felt that our ideologies are not meeting, and it was because of the coalition government. And she said, I cannot continue taking a salary knowing very well I'm not able to deliver. What I don't like about our current system of governance, and it cuts across, it's not just government, it's private sector, it's government, it's informal. The problem is people want to stay in jobs where they're incapable of performing. And then and you will see it in the political space. For example, they will talk about, we have cartels who don't want me to work. There's always someone more qualified than you. Even me, where I sit, I don't believe I'm the most qualified person in my position. There's someone who can come and make change. The problem is these politicians, these heads of businesses, heads of companies, they want to keep the position just because they want to take a salary at the end of the month. But they don't want to honestly say, hii kazi imenishinda. And even though they don't say it loudly, they say it privately. Hii kazi imenishinda kufanya. When Sonko was talking about cartels and everyone else was saying, hii mambo ya cartels, it's like an invisible spirit that you cannot see. You know, the truth, the bottom of the truth of it is he had to go. It was not a matter of you know, whatever he had done in government that can be sold separately, but he was incapable to perform. And when the older generation tries to make Gen Z look like we are, you know, people are being irrational or being emotional about it, part of it has to be attached to the incompetence and the tokenization of it. If people cannot get the work done, and then mulete watu wanaweza fanya kazi. And what I don't enjoy about also that the older generation is this: they have the history. Kibe, you've been here about 48 years. You understand from the day you went to school till where you've gotten today. You've understood how systems can decide to be inefficient, and it's not because systems are not well done. It is the people who hold those positions. If I go into a company today and I lack the capability to elevate it, I should leave. You see me, by the way, guys, honestly, when I came into, for example, in my case, I'll be very honest with you, Kibe. I just resigned from a very, very good job in March of this year. And why did I resign? I just internally felt I was not aligned with the company's vision. And the company's vision was not aligned with my personal morals or my values or the things I care about for my career trajectory. So what did I do? I wrote a very clear resignation, and they said, this is the end of my contract and I would wish to leave. That is the problem with our government. People are not wishing to leave when they see that they're not able to perform. Then they start coming up with ideas, oh, you know, so and so is the one who is impeding me from doing my work. And lastly, there's someone I listened to was talking about, he was comparing Kibaki governance and Ruto governance and even Uhuru governance. And they were saying the day Kibaki took power, the day alikuwa ameketi kwa wheelchair and he said, and he was pronounced as our new president, that very day he made free education available to all children. That same very day. He did not care about what was in the coffers. He did not care that we had debt to pay that Moi had taken on. He said, mimi nimekuja na strategy yangu. Strategy yangu ni watoto waende shule. Of things on their manifesto that they knew that these are the things we want to accomplish. Ruto was in government and knew the debt. I don't think he woke up and realized we were at 85 million. He was part of the people who were receiving salaries and doing all sorts of contracts. So our issue is incompetency we cannot continue to praise incompetency. We have to say, ukishindwa na kazi, step down. And there's no problem with stepping down. And another thing is egotistical characters, and not even characters as such as people, but the habits have been really, really empowered. Someone can stand in front of you. I swear to God, he has been given money at the county level, has not been able to deliver. The auditor has done a report and said, huku projects, yes, zilifanywa, pesa ilitumwa, yes, but the quality of the work, if you look at the audit report zimetoka last week, they went far as the quality of the work done. Mtu anasema nimeweka stadium, lakini ni kawanja tu wamechora. Kama hawezi fanya kazi, let them go home. And as soon as you can establish that, it is possible for incompetent people to be sent home, then we can move on to the next point of, okay, now we have potential vacancies coming our way. GenZs, we have fought for these people to be taken home. So what do we do next? Do we need a political party of our own with our own ideologies? Do we need to come up with a system of vetting the general public? If you feel we have, we want a head of a ministry, please put down your application. Let people apply. The guy who was here talking about ati CS ni 22 lakini watu wata apply 5,000, wacha wa apply. Let people apply for jobs. We have also been in situations where we've applied for jobs, they were very competitive and we won. So the issue of winning is not a problem. The issue of a lot of vacancies is not a problem. It's the quality of the individual who wins. So let's stop praising incompetency. Let's stop it. Because Kibe, I think the next phase of the expose is going into private sector. I've worked in private sector and I can tell you, that is the devil's playing ground. And these are the same people we remove from private sector, then bring them to government and expect them to do anything different. The next expose will be of how private sector CEOs are laundering money. And some of them were mentioned yesterday by Jimmy Wanjigi, the KCBs, the equities, the cooperative banks. We will have more coming. And finally, we'll have to look at ourselves and say, we have been played not only by our government, but even by our employers. They give you 30,000 to work. They take 500,000 home. They are given company cars. They are given travels. Munenda kwa ofisi like me, Kibe, I'll tell you for a fact, you work for an organization. You are the one managing the project. You are the one who wrote the proposal. You are the one who audit. You're the one who put together consultants. Ikifika time ya kuanza manage project, a manager wants to come and take it from you. So that, or he will make you write the report. Then he will present it to other people and make it his own. The time is coming for people to go home. So even if you work for KCB, even if you have your own business, you cannot run it, hand it over either to your children or someone else to run it. Because we are tired of incompetency. So let's not even talk about government, Kipe. Let's talk about across the board, private sector, public sector, informal sector. It finally trickles down to someone like me. If my president is not competent, utapata my CEO is not competent, utapata mimi siko competent, nitalea watoto hawako competent, then we'll be here talking about then generational wealth. Where will the wealth come from when the building blocks of the society are incompetent? So let's even forget the issue of Ruto. Let's talk about ourselves. Kwa hii kampuni yako, unapoa pesa umanage. Are you managing the money well? Are you writing the right thing in the invoice? Whatever you're teaching your children at home, are you teaching them values of truthfulness? Or watoto wako wanadanganyana na wanakudanganya, and you can see your kids playing. So let's keep it. If I could just be honest, I've listened to your spaces for years, and I've come in once in a while to give my opinion. And this is what I believe we should do moving forward. Let's just be truthful. Let's be truthful. Let's say it. Let's say it. Let's say the truth, and the truth shall set us free. And we will be free indeed. As soon as the truth start coming, we will be free indeed. So let's start with the truth. Hii space iko hapa, si ndio tupange tufungue political party. Hii space iko hapa ndio tujue ukweli. Wengine wetu, our textbooks were not made well enough for us to understand the truth. And thank you for opening a space for people to talk the truth. As for what they decide to do the truth is their business. Let's just talk about the truth. And me, I'm here for the truth, and I'm willing to be on the side of the truth. But I don't wanna hear people saying Ruto is trying. No, it's not a matter of can he do it or can he not? Some of us have tried for private sector, and you see clearly this thing is going to the dogs. Let me get out. Let me go on LinkedIn and look for a new opportunity. Let's discuss the truth. And if you cannot work, go home. Thank you so much, Kibe.
Oh, man. Today I feel like I'm the one who's been talking the whole time. Hey. And some people may want us to take these conversations further, but the conversation is a conversation. It has to be had. We must have that conversation. Both sides of the coin, we must hear, and we must hear the best of both sides. We must. So we cannot just hear one side. We must hear the best of both sides. And whatever it is you called me, you see, some of you might think I'm a government apologist. and say, oh, because I'm allowing some of these conversations here. I'm like, no, for me, I'm not. Those labels don't really matter to me. Because for me, at the end of the day, is what am I able to make for myself and how am I able to sleep at night? So I'm not here for cloud chase. I said what I said. So why would we not have the two sides of the argument? If there are three sides, let's have three sides of the argument. And you make your decision. Nobody's forcing you to be anything. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. You just make your own decision by yourself. That's the best thing about this whole thing, that you can actually make a decision for yourself and keep it to yourself. If you feel like tomorrow you want to go to the streets, bro, that is on you. Whatever it is that you feel tomorrow that you want to do, if you want to wake up tomorrow and then go back to sleep, that is on you. But do whatever it is that is good for you. So that now tomorrow at the end of the day, you don't say, oh, you told me. No, nobody told you shit. You do what's good for you. So some of you tomorrow will wake up regretting why you didn't go for the man. At the end of the day, you'll be, oh shit, I should have gone. Others will be like, oh, I shouldn't have gone. That's life. Oh, Gudia, you had something to say against what Wanjiro was saying, right? And then I'll come to you, Cleo.
Yes. I have something on what Wanjiro was saying. Actually, I wanted to echo something that when we talk about the opportunities, she was talking about private sector. When you talk about opportunities, how prepared are these people to take these opportunities? Be it the CSS, be it businesses, be it at loan ikitolewa billions now, what wachukue loan. How prepared are they? How many of these GenZs have business mentality to run? Ama ni kuchagua kazi. You know, business ndio kila kitu. How many are ready and prepared to get the job done? Yule amekubali kuamka 5 a.m. kwenda ama and this is something that we should not dispute when we are judging them. I also said, awana ukabila. So when you are handling such people, let's be careful because some of them lose so much for our sake. Now, I needed to put that on the record. And then finally, so that I can leave it now to other people also to speak, I think I've said enough for the day. Kibaki's government was elected democratically. We both know it was clean. Ruto has question marks, a lot of question marks. We don't know. We have speculations, but we don't know how the man became the president. But when we look at the composition of the cabinet, it was based on tribal who insulted people the most. You find people like kwa Mombasa kuna Isha Juma, Linturi huku despite his incompetency, wengine hata wana papers, wengine hata kizungu ni shida, unapewa ministry na Kumita is failing daily, anasukumwa bado, Kuria anatukana daily, anasukumwa bado. When you look at them, you're like, are these the best that this government could offer? And then when you look at Ruto, he has papers, he knows, he has promises, and he knows so well that whatever he promised, these people will not deliver. Yet he went ahead and gave them the positions. That is why I'm saying it might have been a setup. Mulinisaidia, nimeingia sawa. Kazi mulikuwa mnataka, nimewapatia sawa. But now that you're failing, it is Kenyans who will chase you away. And it's the Kenyans who have been doing everything, not Ruto. And no wonder these MPs, when they're being greeted, Ruto has never talked. Anything which is happening, watu wanasalimiwa, Ruto has never talked. Anaongea tu mambo zake. Probably anaongea vitu ya kukasirisha GenZ zaidi. Wasukume kidogo. So me I would advise GenZ nikimaliza. All want the best for Kenya. I might look at it differently from where I stand is at 6, from where you stand is at 9. So we just talk. We are brothers and sisters, and whatever we disagree on, sawa, ile tumeagree ni sawa, and that is how we are going to build the country. Thank you, Kibe.
Kibe, please allow me to respond to only one thing that Gunia has said. Gunia, please, let's not insult the intelligence of young people. Let's not do that. Let's talk about something as simple as Kibe. When you wanted to start Africa, you said, I want people who can help
Kibe,
me
you are there?
brand. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Wanjira can hear you. I don't know. Gunia cannot hear
Yes.
you. Just
Kibe,
hold on, Wanjiro. Hold on.
Sorry.
Cleophas, can you hear Wanjiro?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. So Gunia is on with the problem. So Gunia,
Yes.
you'll have to drop off and come back. So Wanjiro, go ahead.
Okay. Let me say, the first point Gunia made was about these young people are wanapiga sherehe, these young people are ready to take up positions. I think that is very pretentious. And if he wants to do a poll, let him go ahead and do his own poll. But we are seeing young people really doing innovative things in this country. Kibe, when you came up with the Africa, even I remember before even you were cancelled on YouTube, you started with saying you wanted to start a platform and this is the goal of the platform. And you were inviting people. I remember there's a time you even invited people to come up with songs for your show. And I remember listening to all the auditions of all the people who came up. People exist. Competency exists. The problem with the older generation, for lazima wakupake, what my mom calls, lazima wakupake mavi. Ndio waseme, you cannot do anything. You people are lazy because we work from home. I remember my whole career I've worked from home. And my mother could never understand, how do you stay in the house and make money? Until she could start seeing me here. I am traveling. I am doing this. I am doing that. So we need to get out of that mentality that young people don't have anything else to do with their time. When you wanted people to come and create for you your logo for Africa and keep it, it is young. Make you, if you look, let's not insult it, because when we do that, we continue again with propagating the incompetency. Young people are ready. Young people are available. You can see them in the UK. A 22-year-old became an MP in the UK and was sworn in last week. So let's not do that. Let's take everything as a matter of fact. Are you? And it's not even an issue of age. Uko 22. Aya, umesema ulisoma IT JKUAT. Umesema umeanzisha hii app. Show us give us a prototype. Show us what you've done. We give you a job with the government to help you. They already have the structures. We are going to give you the job. But saying that young people are drinking, drinks have been served in this country since before we were here. Clubs have been running. Sabina Joy, the guy died, I think, a month or two ago. So drinking has happened. All sorts of evils have happened. People have been killed in all the weird ways, as was saying, women, are here, and they are getting sponsors. Sponsors have been here. As Kibe has always told us, prostitution on its own is the oldest entrepreneurship game of our. Not to say that you cannot eradicate it, but let's not. I had my first drink with my older siblings. It is you who taught us how to drink. It is you who taught us about these joints. Then you come again and insult us and say, nyinyi munapenda pombe, hakuna kazi munaweza fanya. No, take a bit of accountability, even you Gunia. You've taken a young person to drink before. You've drank with young people before. You've enjoyed their time before. Then finally, when the youth are saying, you know what, we are putting the bottles down, at least for once in our life, let's fight for something. Then you come say, na watu wanakuanga walevi sana. Yet you are the ones with the wines and spirits. Yet you're the ones owning the clubs. So let's not play that game. Let's talk the truth. Kama mtu hezi fanya kazi. See issue na pombe. You can have your drink whenever you want to have it. But when it comes to time to get shit done, we get shit done. Thank you, Kibe.
Kibe, what happens next?
Gunia, bro. Yeah, that's 2-0, bro. That's 2-0.
Sasa, Kibe, this is the thing. Like
No,
I said, we have
Gunia,
to agree to disagree.
wacha tu agree
just
hiyo
allow me to
round
read
1-0 amekuokota. Your
Wacha
round
tu ni
Wanjiru has okoted you.
wacha ni recover. Let me recover. Let me recover. Just allow Boycha to recover. Wanjiru ameniokota but niruhusu tu ni recover. What
Try your
Wanjiru
best. Try your best.
what Wanjiru doesn't understand, you know, Wanjiru is addressing me like an old man. I'm not old, Wanjiru. I'm only 34. Number one. Number two, we talk about the clubbings and everything. I understand that so well. Like right now, Kibe, we are having a very constructive conversation here. How many Gen Zs are here? But if somebody was twerking somewhere, wouldn't they be there? I'm not dismissing them. Kibe, the fact that you promoted something, the fact that you stood for something then, does it mean when you see the light, you should not address it? If uliniambia twende tukunywe, at some point ukarealize kukunywa simba, actually kunywa simba, jota Yesu aliweka maji kwa pombe. But ukasema excessive drinking si mzuri, nimeona light, my brother stop this and this and this, ukini guide. Should I say because Kibe you showed me a club, so I should not go there? We learn every day. Only a fool doesn't change his mind. So if we were doing something the wrong way and we have seen the light, we adjust very quickly. I don't want to argue so strongly as if I'm attacking Wanjira. I'm just saying that we have learned new ways of doing things. And when we are seeing things are not going right, we must call them out and say, yes, we have a good cause, but the way we are going about it is not the proper way. The alcohol is too much, the partying is too much, rioting is people are overzealous, and how prepared are we to take the opportunities that we are going to create? Yes, tunafukuza ma CEOs. Yes, remember there's something called institutional memories. Huwezi fagua tu kila mtu. That's why we have the PSS. Remember those PSS, kuna wale pia kuna fake degree. We can't wake up today and say everybody must go. Some will stay. Ruto fired every person, but aliacha Mudavadi amsaidie na kata Gachagua. What I'm trying to say is, let youth be prepared. As much as we are fighting for the positions, let's be ready to take them. Ili kipatikana, the ones who have papers and experience and the expertise we need, wape opportunity ile wana deserve. Wenye wako ready sahi still heckling around, wajitayarishe haraka haraka. Kama ni shule rudi, kama nifanya nini fanya, so that biashara pesa ikikuja fanya biashara, do whatever it is. But if we just heckle and we dismiss everybody with different approach on issues, then we will find ourselves with vacant positions. We are so incompetent that we can't deliver. Some people are just book smart. I can give you a very one example. Inaniuma mpaka leo. Somebody called David Osian. Huyu mtu, the first time niliona Mungiki na macho yangu ni akiwekwa kwa Sonyu chair. When David got the opportunity kukuwa CAS, the most powerful CAS, hata watu wakitoka, hiyo position yake was splitted 8 times. There's nothing you can account it can account for. Hakuna mtu yote amesaidia. Saidi anasema anaongea huko. I'm trying to say that even young people that we are talking about, when tested and given the opportunity, I mentioned Karenyamu, I mentioned Salasia, I mentioned Sesang, the youngest senator huko kwa nini. How many times have you seen him discussing anything? I'm saying that we might be shouting here we want, but when given, we have been tested. You have to be tested. The ones that have been tested, what have they delivered? Ama ni Karenyama tuambia tumia tampons. What have they delivered? Ama ni Omanga shaking na shake huko. Ama ni Zena Lebatiang fighting somebody anamkatia. Salasi anatuonyesha vodka. What have young people done? Kuletata bill moja. Jagu amekuwa mbunge hapa for I don't know how long. Umeona nini? I'm just trying to say that yes, we want these opportunities. Are we ready to take them? Yes, they are competent youths. I can see, I like the lady from Kalent Nuka na Tarus. There's Anifa here. There are people from Nini Punapigana Pigana. We have few people who are competent. But youths must be ready. Even if you deserve them, doesn't mean they're going to give it to you. You have to take it. Si lazima tupigane na lazima tuheshimu opinion zote, ile unakubaliana nayo ama ile ukubaliana nayo. Na Kibe, I have to commend you there because tunakutusi hapa, we call you out here, you never get bitter, unatupea platform bado. Let Gen Z join this platform so they can learn, because if people are working here live, hapa ingekuwa imejaa. Kesho wanaamka hakuna akili, ni nduru wanapiga, na saa zile watu wanapewa na mawaidha, ndio tujue tuna advance kwa uo na strategy. You don't just advance for the sake of advancing, mtakufa wote huko.
deal with each other. Because this is the first time that we're having to deal with each other. Because for the longest time, haven't you been letting the government just run itself? Haven't you been letting everything just operate on its own? You took a step back and said, you know what, it's not my monkey, not my forest, not my business. So now this is the first time when you're having to mix with people. Ujue sisi ni watu tumekaa kwa hao. This is the first time tunatoka kwa hao, sasa tunaanza kumit na watu. Na ujue because sisi tumekaa kwa hao, we are introverts. Now introverts don't trust anybody from outside. So you must learn how to deal with each other. You must learn how to at least create a system that allows you to operate, at least even inside there. You see, like now, these kids who had a lot of energy, these kids who are coming from these like very broken homes, did very well in sports because all that aggression that they had, they were able to translate that aggression into sports. It was easy to know. The most aggressive person on the pitch, chances are, but anatoka home place, is waterguan, is mayhem. Does that make sense, Cleophas? At all, in any way?
Yes, Kibe, it really does make sense. And I truly want to thank you for always giving people the opportunity to give their diverse opinion, because we've been to different spaces where people just want to listen to monologues. By that, what I mean, like people just happy to listen to people who just share the same opinion as theirs. So like you don't stand a chance to have a different opinion. And that gives room for me to contribute to what my brother Gunia was saying. Really, it does make a lot of sense, though I agree majorly with what he's saying, and I also disagree minorly with some of the things he says, because, for example, when he says the young people are much interested into drinking, much interested into all kind of negative stuff, it's not all, it's some. And then we come back to taking responsibility. If indeed young people have become that bad, then the older generation must take responsibility. The millennials have to take a bigger responsibility, because it means we have failed them as brothers, we have failed them as sisters. We're supposed to give direction to our young brothers and sisters. We're supposed to guide them. We're supposed to be there for them. The fact that young people are too much into grabbing, it means we never stepped in as brothers. It means the generation started falling during our time. Because Kibe, I don't know the family setup you are brought up, but most young people, almost brothers, I may say the Generation X and the millennials, were tasked with the duty of being parents at a younger age. You were even able to discipline your younger brother. You were able to tell him what to do and not to do. So if Generation Z are badly failing, it means we have all failed as a people, and we need to come back and gather our failures and try to make amends. Now, Kibe, let me contribute a little bit about how governments are formed and the purpose of forming government, because sometimes I feel like we push too much into something to the point that it may make us look ignorant or stupid. When people decide to form government, they come together to even gather resources, to form policies, the things they want to be done by their government, and then that's what they say to the people. So whoever forms government, he has a group of people that he or she want to work with. So it's also prudent for us to ask our generation and Gen Z that if we want to be part of government, then we have to stop talking about being leaderless, being partless, and be part of a party or be part of leadership that want to take leadership of the nation. Because if we don't do that, Kibe, then we don't stand any chance of doing anything or influencing anything, because governments cannot be formed by people on the streets. We have to be part of the parties that form government. We have to bring changes from within. And then today being a propaganda Monday, Kibe, I want to contribute about something that the president has been saying on the streets about the current violence being instigated by a foreign foundation, foreign foundation. I find it awkward and I find it unbecoming and uncalled for, because he is the head of state, and according to the best of our knowledge, he has been having good relationship with the US Embassy in Kenya, and even had a good relationship to the extent that he was the first African president to be recently invited to the United States for the state visit. So what is so hard for him to call out the embassy, or even to the United States president, to talk about that issue rather than just addressing the issue on the streets, while the country is falling and the country is failing? Because as at now, Kibe, at least most of us who are independent thinkers, who kind of actually support this movement, we feel like there's some form of infiltration in this movement. We can see some form of there's a hand, but not necessarily foreign. It can be even by political players in Kenya, some of them who want to reinvent themselves, who have lost favor with the people, but want to reinvent themselves by using Gen Z. So for him to call out a foundation that is foreign-based, he really need to come out with proper evidence and address it in the best way possible, probably through the US Embassy in Kenya, for that channel, and through other legal means, not just addressing it on the streets, because Kibe, that is not good for the nation. And we really know that US is known for it's always known for overthrowing the government. It has happened in the Ukraine, and it has happened in Syria, it has happened in Libya. So when that allegations are brought in, it's not something that should be taken for granted. So as the head of state, he really need to address the issue with the magnitude it deserves, not just making some street talks and just like that, you know, and then we take them as his usual normalized on the street. So the president need to come out clean and talk as the head of state, and talk like someone with information and someone who understands what he's doing, because he has been talking a lot of things on like which do not add up. So I appreciate that if the president, because I know some people here listening are part of the government, please tell the president that some statements he makes as the head of state are not just statements. They should mean something. They should mean something. He talks about withdrawing Kenya from the East African Court. He's the head of the state. He should not make such a statement. Kenya is a democracy. You don't just withdraw the country from a treaty that it signed just because you don't agree with them. That's not the right way to go. We're talking about running away from dictatorship kind of government, and kind of every statement he makes us believe that he's a dictator, and that's what we're really trying to run away from. We don't want that kind of leadership. Thank you, Kipe. Thank you for the opportunity. Unless there's a question, I think that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Cleophas. Let's see if there's any opposing view. But for now, Jesse, are you there? Jesse.
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
Thank you, Kibe. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It's a Monday. It's another gift from the Heavenly Father. We say thank you. I won't say much because I'm somewhere I'm very busy a bit. This opportunity find me that while I'm busy. Okay, nashukuru kwa kila maoni ya kila moja kwa hii space. It's been a great opportunity for everyone to give out their opinions. For me, drama everywhere in my country. Someone to hold me. I'm very tired with my country. Nimechoka na Kenya. Drama. Look at DCI drama. They are representing red panties for the serial killer. So hata unashindwa sasa hizi ni gani? Look at Nakuru meeting. President there. Mambo tu blaming game. I'm very, very tired. Just want to say something concerning about Wasike and Gunia at earlier vile walikuwa wanaongea. Wasike say that President Ruto is the president of GenZ, is the one directing us to do what he wants us to do. Let me tell you guys, no. Yeah, it's good. Ilikuwa opinion. How he was killed, for real, Kibe. Yes, lakini I don't have opportunity. Guys, I want to tell you, my fellow GenZ, let us meet tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to prove that Ruto is not our president. If he can't work for us, I want to say what Wanjiru said. If mtu hawezi fanya kazi, let him to go home. Let them go home. Let us have those people that they can work for us with pure hearts. So guys, let us focus on tomorrow. Thank you, Kibe. Niko na pain, I can't talk much.
Usiwache ingie kwa lungs, tafadhali. Don't let it get into the lungs. All right. Thank you, Jesse. Who else is here? Do we have any other person who wants to talk and hasn't talked? Aoko Ben. I'll come to you, Banis. All right, Aoko Ben, if you're missing in action, let's do Joshua.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Kibe, for adding me. I just want to say that today, this is just drama that has occurred today about the DCI, about the quarry dump site. This is just a normal drama that the government is trying to put on us so that we don't attend that Tuesday. That Tuesday protest. But ideally, if you look at what they have, the information they give, even the things they have brought out, you just see that these are people that are just trying to fool Kenyans. Secondly, if this government was serious, last time the president talked about the people above 60 years going home. You know, he was just saying that just to please Kenyans, but to please the young people. But the truth is, the people above 60 years are more in government. There are so many and nothing is being done to remove them. So if he was serious, he could have given an executive order, or through the public service, he could have written a formal communication so that can be effected. Thirdly, I also want to talk about the issue that the president is talking about, those who are sponsoring the protest. I think the president may be living in denial, or I don't know what is up to him. But you can't be a commander-in-chief and you talk about somebody sponsoring chaos in your country. What action have you done as the commander-in-chief for such thing? When you go to a street and talk about that, what effect will it make if you are serious and you are protecting, because when he swore in to protect the constitution. And if somebody is sponsoring chaos in a country, then it means that you should be protecting your nation. Nothing he has done on that. I just urge everyone listening, please just focus. I've also heard people talking about the Gen Z being people like the youths are not focused on what they need in life. Actually, when you have a problem, you must face it and you must look at the solution. Now we have a cause. Let us look at what can make us accomplish our cause. It is not bad if you umepigia mwili pole after some times. That one had people. The youth are the most creative creatures in Kenya. And if these people could be given an opportunity, we have few that has been tested in leadership but have failed us. But that does not mean that they should not be given an opportunity. So if someone is saying these are people who are not ready to create the opportunity, the people are creating opportunity, only that the environment is not conducive for the survival of such an opportunity. They are creating employment, but they are creating self-employment. They have what it takes. But the government of the day, or even the previous government, there is no conducive environment for those businesses to prosper. So for me, I know that the youth are the only people that will change Kenya. Those who talk of denial, those who talk of the youth are like being used. No, we like the current youth, the Gen Z and millennials, they are people of a very good IQ and they reason. Even if you walk to the street, a person might be jobless, but the way they reason, you might think this is a person that lacks that job, but they can change. They are ready to change Kenya. Then let me just talk about also in terms of what has happened. People have been always talking about the finance bill, but in Kenya, finance bill go in hand with the appropriation bill. Now, in terms of appropriation bill, that is where the focus should be. You remember, even now, the president has taken back the finance bill, but the appropriation bill has not been affected. I've seen there is a supplementary budget one for 2024-2025 that has been affected. But even the problem we have with the Appropriation Act is that we don't have the budget line by line. We only have the departmental budget. That means that even if in a department, what the exact thing that money is going to do, we don't know. So that is why I think, and in future, the youth should focus. Even this appropriation bill, the process of the appropriation bill passage, it should be really scrutinized through public participation. And we must know each vote head, they call it the vote head, that you have allocated this in this department, inaenda kufanya nini, which exact thing does it go to do, so that even now he said that we have reduced this, but he's the same person who have signed the appropriation act, the appropriation bill which has come to the act without even making any recommendation. He saw there was allocation for his wife, there was allocation for the spouse of the prime cabinet secretary, but he comes in a press conference or in a briefing and tell us that I'm going to reduce this. Why can't he just, before he could sign that bill into an act, mbona akuandika recommendation there is a memorandum that she should have written to the Speaker of the National Assembly with the recommendation that please do this, reduce this, so that when I make my assent to the bill, then it is binding. You know, even now, he talks of that expenditure is not there, but legally he is allowed to. Those officers can still go on with their function, because legally, by putting his signature on that.
Joshua, land that plane, tafadhali, land that plane.
Okay.
Land the plane. Umeelewa hiyo?
Okay,
Hiyo kizungu?
thank you. Thank you. Maybe if I can stop there, I give the rest the chance. Thank you very much.
So when I tell you to land the plane, you have like a minute. So that minute you can use it to finish the thought that you had. Is there a thought that you had that you can finish it within a minute? We lost Joshua. All right, let's go to Josephine. Josephine Nganga, what's up?
I'm available.
All right, thank you, Joshua.
Yes, I just want to say that as youths, let us focus, and tomorrow just come out in large numbers and show the world that we can make it, and be involved in everything in Kenya. Don't say that this is a political thing. Just participate in everything that happens in your nation. That is how you will be counted for everything that happens in your nation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, fellow countrymen and women of Kenya. Yeah, and also those who are in diaspora. I want to believe there's those who have also joined us from the diaspora. You're highly welcomed in this place. My name is working with the focus, and also once you raise an issue, it's also, I believe in, you also give us how you think this should be approached, because that's the only way we are going to attain a certainty in what we want. We don't guide each other, then we are losing, and we may find ourselves being losers. And that's actually what is saying. It's very specific, because one question decides that I have heard you, you don't need me, and I'm stepping down. What will be our way forward? Because have we prepared, and we are telling ourselves, yes, this is the person that we feel is the right person to be the president of this country, who can implement the right governance in this country. And what gauge do we have to gauge him or her so that they take that position in our country? And if we do not have that, then we are still very far backwards when it comes to focus. Yes, we are committed to removing Ruto and also castigating everything, but we also need to be committed in coming up with solutions and telling ourselves, yes, If he says tomorrow is leaving office, who is taking up this office? How do we expect him to govern us? Or we are going to be divided again, and they start saying, you know, kuna mtu wangu, you know, this and this and the other. And eventually we find ourselves jumping from the frying pan to the fire. So what are we saying? We are saying we need to sober up and think. When we are sober, when we castigate and we give a solution to the problem. We say this is the challenge and this is what I think it should, this is how I think it should be handled. And I think if in case the president leaves the throne tomorrow, then so we think it is appropriate wisdom on how to apply this. And when we do without wisdom and without knowledge on how to go about it, then we will find ourselves putting our country into messy. I've had somebody who was we want for our country, definitely not. So what are we saying? We need also to be able to segregate. What is it that I want? What is my focus? What's my achievement? What's my target? And what am I going to attain? Because by the end of the day, I want to believe we are all focused on having a nation which we can be respected by our leaders, whereby our leaders can adhere and they rule us according to the interest of the people of this country, so that, and who can listen to us with no pride. And having said that, I would want them to listen, and I request that if you see this challenge, then tell us how can we sort this challenge in our country. That's the only time we'll say that yes, we are educated, we have the wisdom, and we are empowered, and we know what we want. And we are confused and running to and fro. So let's remain committed. Let's not think about destroying our country at any given point. I want to encourage you to remember that it doesn't feel very good to live in a refugee camp. We have been the great hosters of the refugee camps in this country, and you can tell from whatever we've been seeing the refugees in our country they go through. It's not the right thing we would want to go through in any other foreign country, because maybe somebody just ordered something and we just took it on our hands and they did the wrong thing to destroy ourselves. The Bible says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So let's actually remain focused and remain actually trying to dissect and separate what do I really want? What kind of leadership do I want? And in case this happens, what is the solution? I really insist on that. Kindly, let's focus on that. In case there's anybody who needs psychological support, especially the families who have lost their loved ones and they cannot overcome that trauma and that grief and loss, any survivor who was abducted and was put in that trauma, kindly link them up with me. I will be able to avail a psychologist to support them and work with them so that they can overcome what the challenges they are going through. It's our commitment to ensure that we are our brother's keeper. We are not happy at all regarding what's happening, but let's be out there with the focus and understanding and with the knowledge of what we want. Thank you so much, and may God bless us all. In case you feel that you want to follow me, kindly follow me at a hashtag Nganga Dinda, so that we can also deliberate on different issues. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Josephine, umejiuza sana mno. Hey, what's all that selling? Yeah, I understand.
Mr. Kibe, I'm over.
All right. Can you hear me? Midi Joe, can you hear me? Or Banis?
I can hear you.
Midi Joe, you can hear me? Go ahead, Midi Joe.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Hey, leo watu wamebonga bana. And it's funny the direction this thing is taking. Sababu sasa watu wameanza kufanya hiki to disregard this movement. Thank you Kibe for the space. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone listening. But niko na swali moja. What country is this? Let me first echo what 110 mentioned by saying people are missing the point. Watu wamepotea njia kabisa, because this is not mainly a political war. It is a competency and a systemic war that we have. People must understand this. We are not against anyone personally. We are not against anyone personally. We are against the system. Na by so saying we are against the system, tunamaanisha serikali imeshindwa na kazi kabisa. Wameshindwa na kazi kabisa. And so to answer the big question, who should we believe? First of all, and first and foremost, mimi nataka niambie kila mtu, believe in yourself. First of all, believe in yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Be true to yourself. Because even these leaders that we have in government, wametoka kwa society tuko. And they are just a sample of how the society is. They are not aliens. So, we should believe in the movement, period. No two way about it. I also beg to differ with most of the people wenye wameongea hapo before. Kulikuwa na Gunia, kuna wengine wameongea mambo ni kama wako pro government sana. Na sio mbaya. That's your opinion. But I have a question. Ni sawa mnasema president anaweza kuwa ni yana lead GenZ na anaweza kuwa anafanya mambo ati ndio a correct mambo. I beg to differ, because kama ni yana amekuwa akifanya mambo ndio a correct mambo, so mimi hata corruption hiyo ndio anafanya ndio a correct. Hizi killings zinaendelea, yeye ndio anafanya ndio a correct. And so who are we to blame? He's the same guy that we are talking about, the president. Because bro, we need to wake up, bana. We need to wake up. Na hii direction tuna take, I'm sorry, lakini we'll gain nothing in it. Totally nothing. We'll gain nothing in it. Because let's not run from reality. Personally, nilikuwa na biashara na nilifunga kitambo, because it was not sustainable. Kwanza mimi nakumbuka I had a butchery, nilikuwa nauza. Customers wangu walienda wakipotea moja. I mean, mtu alikuwa ananunua 10 kgs in a week, akaanza kununua 8. Akapunguza to 6, 5. Alikuwa anakuja mara 4 kwa wiki, akaanza kuja mara 3, mara 2, until mara ya mwisho wanapita hapo nje wananisalimia. Hata mtu hata nyama ya 50 hapo anabuy. What are we talking about, bana? People, let's be realistic. And for those who are thinking or who have betrayed the movement, mnafaa kufinywa. Because you guys are a sellout. If wewe mwenyewe sasa unapata shida, think about your kids. Think about the generations to come. Right now we are talking about everything is expensive. First and foremost, education is expensive. Now, if you ever get a leader when you're an advocate for education to be expensive, I mean, anafaa kutolewa with immediate effect. Why? Because anataka generations zenye zitakuja iwe ni mang'ombe peke yake. Wakiambiwa left, wanaenda left. Wakiambiwa right, wanaenda right. And guys, mbona hawajashikwa wenye wameua watu kwanza? Mbona Mithika Linturi saa hii he's a free man, mbona hajashikwa? Mbona tunaongelea vitu zenye saa hii juzi jana, by the way, Kibe, kwa space ya Americs, there was someone who was sharing about what is happening at JKIA, and akasema within a month's time hiyo deal ilifaa kuwa closed. JKIA inapeanwa, inauzwa. What are we talking about, man? Ama yani wacha tuseme hao watu wote wamekuwa kwa street because it's not about GenZs. First of all, mna misquote hii movement. Yes, ni sawa, GenZs ndio walikuwa the pioneers, but right now everyone is on board. Almost everyone is on board. I remember the very first day me tukienda maandamano, my own mother told me mimi ni mjinga, but as days went by akaanza kuona the sense in it, because saa hii watu wanajua vitu zenye hawaku wanajua zina exist na zinafanyika. And sorry to say, our parents ni wale watu wa soma, ugraduate, utafute kazi. Ni sawa, generations imesoma, watu wamesoma wengi, universities watu wana graduate every now and then, colleges kibao. Our youth ndio wako kwa street, they are jobless because waliambiwa someni mpate kazi. Kazi ziko wapi sasa? Hakuna kazi, and only a few are benefiting from it. So what I'm saying is the government has totally failed. Na hapo hakuna discussion. Na msikuja kutudanganya hapa ati serikali inaweza kuwa inafanya hivi ndio ina correct nini? Kama mnafuatilia the happenings na zile vitu zinaendelea, vitu zinakuwa another every now and then. Vitu hata hatukuwa tunajua. Hata mimi personally vitu hata kama JKA, I wasn't in the know. Sasa I'm in the limelight. Na hata mimi sasa nazichimbia nijue deeper, because let's not be ignorant, guys. Tusikuwe ignorant to that extent, man. Na hata kama unajua uko ignorant ama kuna vitu hujui, don't expose your ignorance to the public or to these spaces, because msichukue tu time hapa kuongea vitu usikike umeongea. Ni sawa, ni opinion, lakini do your due diligence. Mseme kama vitu kama SGR zili happen, lakini the main dealings hazikuletwa kwa the public eye. Why? Because mtajua wameiba pesa, billions of money. Jana I overheard kwa hiyo space ya Americs, one Jimmy Wanjege said in the last like 12 or so years Kenya has lost approximately or more than 60 billion US dollars. What are we talking about? Na kama kuna mtoko kwa calculator sahi, finyo ya hesabu. Mimi nilifanya nikaona it's almost 7.8 trillion Kenya shillings. Na saa hii Kenya iko na debt ya almost 10.1 or so. So meaning 3/4 ile pesa yote imekuwa ikichukuliwa kama loans imeenda. Tunaongea nini? Pesa imeenda. And we are saying even the former opposition, because I Kenya in opposition. Right now the president is calling for a government of national unity, GNU. That's a scam, guys. That's a scam. And why am I saying that? Personally, me nasema that's a scam. Take for instance, Baba. Before these protests, finance bill ilikuwa inapita kama Baba hajaongea. Sasa ameona watu wameamka, movement imekuja, revolution ndio hii, amehop in. Ametumwa ati aongee on GenZ's behalf. Nani alimtuma? Na ile makosa tumefanya na mliambiwa na Kibe, I remember you telling guys in the first spaces that you did, don't let politicians in this. Don't let politicians get into this, because no, these are the results that we are seeing. Now people are scattered. Ile sense watu walikuwa wameanza kuona kidogo, ndio hiyo sasa mumeanza sasa kununuliwa tena. Mumeanza kusema ati president anafanya kazi ndio atengeneze kazi. Kazi gani amefanya bana? Systems are failed. The health sector has failed. The agriculture has failed. Imagine we mzazi wako ako Ocha anauziwa mchanga na manyua kama fertilizer. Alafu mnaambiwa ni subsidy. Subsidy ya wapi bana? Is this the Kenya we want? No, personally I don't want this country. It's in a mess. We are in shambles, guys. We are in shambles. Na kama hamuoni, sijui mtaona lini. Na kama hamuoni saa hii, just forget about it. Na kama ameshindwa kupanga kazi in 2 years, ni kazi gani anapanga in the next 2 years? Because the last year itakuwa election. So hapa tunaongelea miaka 2 to be precise. Na you know Kenya, hata jana mmeona Baba ameenda Kware wakiwa na kina Sifuna sijui na kina nani. Kufanya nini bana? Kama saa hii overnight hiyo area yote ya Kware imechomwa. What are we saying bana? What are we saying bana? Hiyo area ya Kware kwanza ilikuwa, it was a place that was to be given utmost security because it's a scene of crime. Right now we are talking about it being burnt. It's a scene of crime. Sasa imechomwa. Evidence imeenda. Mnaongea nini? Okay. Unaweza argue si government imefanya. Basi kama si government ya kina nani? It's the former opposition then. What are we saying? Do away with politicians, guys. Shun these people. Hata jana kwa hiyo space ya Americs, Jimmy Wanjegi alisema, if you want this country to progress, any leader, any politician that has been government for the last 12 years, do away with them. Because these guys know what they are doing. Hii ni kama chess, tunapangwa na mutapangika. Mulisema mpangwingwi, munapangwa na hamuoni. Yes, munapangwa na hamuoni. It's time we did it. Now if you're not doing it, forget about it. Because these guys have stolen huge amounts of money. They are buying each and every institution in this Kenya. They are manipulating each and every institution in this Kenya. So what are we saying, man? We are saying we need this government to go to park and live. Bunge iende. Executive iende. Hata yo judiciary iende. We want new people. And people who will be true to this movement and to the demands that people have. Because we have the sovereign power. Na nimalizie nikisema, watu waende wasome katiba na watu waende wasome hizo vitu zote zimekuwa zikitajwa kwa hii movement. Because it's not in vain. Na msikojole ile effort yote the GenZs wameanzisha and what they have achieved and what we have achieved as a movement. Don't try bana. Hizo negative energy mnataka kuleta hapa ati the government is working. Wamefanya nini? They have done nothing in totality, nothing. They are best at kuiba. Kama mnafollow watu hapa kwa Twitter, kwa X. Watu wanaongea bana. Enda Nyayo House. It's in a total mess. Watu wali apply passports the last year October mpaka wa leo hazijatoka. What are we saying bana? Lakini enda upatiane nasoma tweets. Ukitaka nini yako sijui passport itoke mbio, unapeana kitu fulani. In the next 2, 3, 5 days it's out. Wewe ngoja nyumbani unaombanga Mungu. Munaombea nchi, munaombea system. Ukingoja ID unaiombea itoke. Utaiombea mpaka mwaka ya election. Hautachaguana. I'm telling you for a fact. I'm telling you for a fact. So you guys talking here about government inafanya, it's your opinion and we respect that. But we won't allow, and personally mimi I don't allow mtu anakuja kuniambia ati mambo ya government. Personally mimi nilikuwa mtu pro UDA mbaya sana. We campaigned for this government mbaya sana. Kwani sisi ndio tu wenda wazimu sasa hivi we are against this regime? We are not. We are still the same guys who we were. But ile kitu tumekataa sasa ni kusema no, enough is enough. We need competency. We need systems to work. Why are guys migrating? Each and every enda Nyayo House. Watu wanapiga foleni huko, wanashinda huko the whole day, wanangoja passport. Hao watu wanataka passport waende Busia. Ama kuna passport, kuna intercounty passports zinapeanwa ati ukitaka kutoka Kiambu uende Mombasa unaitishwa passport. No. Tuache bana. Na mimi sitaogopa kuambia watu ukweli. Tuache bana. Na nyinyi mnajaribu kukua sellouts, mnafaa mfinywe. Mpaka muamke. Kila cops are roaming. Rogue ministers, they are still roaming around. Now if you guys don't know, hawa CSs walienda nyumbani ati mna celebrate juu wameenda, No, we are speaking about we at a new cabinet. Watakuja na bado watalipwa mpaka 2027. Pesa itatoka wapi? It's your money and my money being used venye wanataka. Taxpayers' money at the expense of social development, at the expense of the health sector, at the expense of our security, at the expense of everything that we need to have. So guys bana, let's be serious at least for a second. Kila mtu ajiite kama mkutano mahali huko, jiite kama mkutano na ufike on time, because ukichelewa ole wako utapata tulisonga bana. Na mimi nasongesha, nikiingia kwa matatu naanza debate deliberately. Na hii nchi yetu inaenda wapi? Nasikia tu Kenya watu wanasema naingilia na ubaya sana. Juzi nimemnyamazisha mama kwa matatu, nikamwambia what are you saying? What are you saying? Nikamuuliza watoto wako wako wapi? Are they good? Yeah. Nikamwambia ingekuwa ni wako waliokota kwa Kware, ungekuwa wapi saa hii ukisema ati hawa watoto wetu ni wajinga? Wajinga wapi? Ulisomesha mtoto wako university ya kuwe mjinga ama kuwe enlightened? And sorry to say, most of our parents don't even know about the 2010 constitution. Hawajui hata nini iko huko ndani. Ni ile generation ya tulizoea shida, bora tunakula tuko sawa. Mnakula alafu is life all about eating? No. It's not about eating. Ni sawa na unakula leo, kesho uko sure kama utakula kweli? You're not, because even you might be dead. Ujui kama utakula. So personally mimi nasema no to this government, no to bad governance, no to corruption, no to police brutality. And guys, we need to be sober. Na kuna hii swali watu wanauliza, sasa GenZs wana push, hawataki leaders, sio hataki nini, Ruto akiresign nani ataingia? Tutaingia. Mimi kwanza nitaingia. Na nitaingia aje? Tukisema Ruto waende tunamaanisha hata Kashagu waende. Hakuna siri hapa. They go. Wacha Wetangula abaki na hiyo kiti for 60 days before we call an election. But Before that, we need the IEBC to be reconstituted so that wakienda nyumbani, we have a body that should run the elections. Na hizo 60 days Wetangula atashikilia, and I pray ikuwe hivyo. And personally, I'm working for that. Na Senate ashavotiwa out Linturi, akipelekwa kwa parliament anarudishwa. What parliament is that? It's a shithole parliament. Waende nyumbani na tutarudi hapa kwa space Kibe na huruma ni estate. Kuna huruma hapa, na tukiacha hii kitu iende tusahau, because institutions have been bought, banks have been bought, the judiciary is under siege, parliament has been bought. Now what about the executive? It's a walk in the park. Ninyi huku mnateta huku chini, lakini maji ilidivertiwa, sijui kutonga wapi, sijui ilienda wapi, itaenda, and you'll do nothing about it. So if you want to do something, do it now. Thank you Kibe. Na kama kuna mtu ako na contrary opinion, niko hapa, tutajibu hizo maswali na tutaambiana mpaka tuambiane ukweli. Asante.
Sahi nataka tumalize hii story. Hata mimi nimekaa hapa sana mno. I've been here for too long. So I want to hear the last 3 submissions. I'll start with you, R, and then go to Banis and Gunia. You can close. Or but let's start with you, R.
Yeah. So Kibe, thank you. My name is Richard Mwambi, and I like what the GenZs have done. So this question is directly to you, Kibe. Kibe, what do you think that we are gaining from this movement as the youth of Kenya? Just a brief too. You just tell me, what do you think on your part?
I think so far you've gained a voice, and that voice is So far, the only thing that you've gained so far is a voice. So this voice can now be used anywhere and everywhere. It's very powerful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. So my submission is on 3 things. And the first one is the unconstitutional loans that have been taken by the government since 2013. And Ruto was part of that, was part of the taking of those loans 2013. Second one is the increasing number of youths who are not employed. Kibe, tutaenda kwa maandamano leo, kesho, but by the end of the day, what are we gaining? Umesema tuko na sauti. But tutarudi tu, we're only going to elect a few leaders, Kibe. Alafu, sisi wengine tutaenda wapi? This is a question I'm asking every Gen Z out there. Okay, the government steps out. We only elected 50, it's not even 50,000. It's even around 10K or even 5,000 youths. So where will the 8 million go? Kibe, we have a very big job ahead of us. And moving forward, we should know what we want. So mine was one, I was suggesting this. The government should give us 100 billion. This is the same money Kina Mrukomen and Kina Linturi, they have stolen this money. So, and this 100 billion will go into the counties, and an office of the youth is created. It is not part of the county, no. Every 47 county to have an office where we receive either 2 billion every county. Now, Kibe, this money will be used by us, the youths. And let me tell you something. Nowadays, Kibe, earlier on, we didn't know where to get your number. Right now, we have friends in the national intelligence. We can get any number even if it was Ruto's number yenye amechange sahi, even Raila or Kalonzo, we can get those numbers. And guess what, Kibe? These people right now, they are afraid to take the public office. Why? They know we will go for them. Before even ethics gets there, we are already there. We have done our part of the deal because you have already taken our money. So if the 2 billion is given to youths in every county, every youth should go there and apply for these loans without the political or where you come from or you are from rich families. No, let us get these loans. By getting these loans, we are 18 million plus youths, Kibe. Imagine tutaenda wapi tukipata hii pesa. Mi nimeanza kabiashara kangu huko ushago, nimelisha kuku, naleta mayai kwenye napeleka. Mwingine ameanza kulima vitu zenye anataka kulima. And then we pay these loans after 5 years. You know, that will be great. The economy will go up. But we are here on the streets and we are saying Ruto must go. Anaenda wapi na yeye ndio alitoka kwa hii mess Kibe. Yeye na nani Uhuru ndio walichukua hizi loans. Hizi loans hazikuchukuliwa na Kibaki. Wao ndio walichenda article 206 of the Kenyan Constitution. Jimmy Wanjigi has told us everything we needed to know about that. So Kibe has used, let us open our minds here. The first thing tulifanyiwa ni tulipewa loans za Asla. Kibe sijui kama ulichukua hiyo loan ya 500. Bro, tulipatiwa nikuambiwa tuende tuanze biashara. Unaanzaje biashara na 500? And then we are here saying ati Ruto anafanya kazi. Hakuna kazi amefanya. I was there. Nilikuwa nasema this is one of the most incompetent CSS I've ever seen in my life. I cannot even, hata mimi Kibada ingekuwa wewe ungekuwa kwa hiyo ofisi, there is so much incompetence. Those people do not know what is going on in their ministries. I'm even burning out Kibe. Unapewa 500, unaambiwa ati urudishe na sijui haita incur cost. And then the funny part is tunapewa hii pesa na mobile phones. Which government assits one person? Haitawahi kuwa hiyo pesa. The government should strip hiyo hustler fund right now. Juu hiyo ni pesa yetu Kibe. Hiyo pesa haikuenda ikachukuliwa kwa mfuko ya mtu. That is our taxpayers' money. Let them strip the hustler fund. And then tuletewe loans huku chini. So Kibe, the other party ni if we dare default one of these loans, IMF will not give us loans. China, anyone else will not give us loans. And guess what? Ile mkate yenye tunalilia saizi iko 65 ama 70, it will go to 200. Hiyo lita ya mafuta diesel, it will go 10 times higher, 500, because we did not to hell. Enda sijui Sugoi, wewe ukienda huko na upatikana na watu wako huko wenye wakutaki pia, go to hell or heaven. Then the last part, Kibe. Hata saizi, let me repeat, even if Ruto, even if you take Jesus Christ himself hapa, atakuja awaambie, you know what, Kenyan people, we have loans to pay and this is how we are going to pay them. We youths, when we get jobs, and we will not get these jobs, we are going to get them by maandamano. Tuesday we should advocate, kila mtu atoe poster. We want 100 billion in every county. And it is not part of the county money, hapana. Hiyo ni ingine special, iweke special. Wana youth wapatiwe loan. Iende hivyo. And then, let us be educated. Usiongee tu juu tunaongea. Let us be factual. And I like what Midijo has said here. Yes, it was very on point. So let us move with the fact that strap hustler fund, give the youths loans, tujiajiri sisi wenyewe. And then we move forward. 2027 tuamuke, tuende tutoe huyu mtu. They took these loans. Even Jimmy Wanjigi said this thing. Siku anajua hizi vitu they amended the constitution, 206 of the Kenyan Constitution. Do you know how it feels? I was asking someone, do you know how it feels when you are seated home, you have learned, na umejaribu kabiashara kako mahali, and then when you go for these contracts and tenders hatupewi. Mimi nimetembea hizi county government zote, sipewi. I'm a contractor, I've qualified, niko na NCA, niko na permit ya county. The municipal county, watu they don't care who you are. Ni lazima uende pale na 2.5 million. Kibe, mimi kijana kama mimi nitatoa wapi 2.5 million? Ati hiyo ndio facilitation fee, ati mimi ndio unipee loan, na mimi nataka kuajiri vijana wenzangu. Inauma sana. Yani inauma after spending 4 years sleeping without sleeping badly, eating badly, and then suddenly we have a government that tells us, hey, you know what? We need to care about you. They never cared about anyone. They only care about their stomach. So Kibe, thank you for this opportunity, and please assist me in preaching this one. Trap Hustler Fund, tupatiwe loans sisi wana youth, loans ambazo si za kupatiana na simu. Acha tuende pale tuone records. Richard Nye alichukua 2.5 million. Accountability. And do you know what is the good case scenario? This is a good case scenario. There is no political leader kuanzia 2027 ataanza mkatie Kibe nitakuletea maji kwa nyumba. They will never sell lies to anyone. Juu wanajua sisi wana youth tutawatembelea. There will never be corruption in this country because Gen Z woke up, and I love what you are doing. I had so many questions nikijiuliza, kwani sisi hatuonangi hizi vitu zinafanyika? And guess what? The word came to the Gen Zs, and the word is one. We want employment, and we are the ones who are going to employ ourselves. Unatuambia ati tuende huko Saudi Arabia, ati we are going to be employed as security guards. Stupid, very silly guy. That guy is a maniac. Unatuambia sisi siwapeleke hao wake waende huko. Sisi hatuendi mahali. We are here tujenge hii taifa. Sisi we are 18 million plus. Kibe, that should tell you how many we are. That number is even little, but we're 18 million plus. We can change this country. We can lipa those loans. They were unconstitutional, tutazilipa juu hakuna otherwise. If we were there to default, Kibe, things will be worse. That is it for me. Thank you, Kibe, and please preach what I've said. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, my guy. That was a nice submission. Gunia, are you here?
Yes, Kibe, I'm here.
Give me your final submission, bro.
My final submission is that the guy who just spoke, and I didn't get his name. I want to provide a solution because there's a lady who alikuwa na G-Market ukamwambia amejiuza sana. She was asking a question which I also asked. Someone like Midi Joe is just shouting. Akimaliza apeani any proposal on how we are going to get out of this. This guy who just spoken on amesema 2027 we get this guy out. What I'm saying is this. The only way, because if Midi Joe was wrong, him and the people like him were wrong about Ruto's competency as a president. They forced us with this guy, didn't vote for this guy. They were wrong then. What makes him think that they're right now? They have proven they were about Ruto. Uhuru cried, Raila cried, everybody cried that you insisted on this guy. Now people are crying, mnatuambia sijui nini. So kama ni kupiga nduru, tuambiane ukweli. This is the solution. Me naleta solution, that's why I'm speaking. I don't want to even contribute much. The solution is this. We emphasize on the constitution. There's no challenge that we are facing that is not addressed by the constitution. Be it how to allocate money, be it how to spend money, be it who is qualified to hold which office, be it what are the criteria of getting somebody out of an office, be it what kind of mistakes ukifanya unafaa kutolewa kwa office and how unatolewa je. Everything is well laid out and structured in the constitution. The only problem is everybody is ignoring them. Be it kwa DCI, mtu anafaa kuchukuliwa namna gani, be it mtu anafaa kukaa kwa jela, kuholdiwa for how long before kuje kotini, be it mtu mada ikiwa who is supposed to carry the responsibility, be it how do you introduce a policy in the government, which one requires the public participation? For example, the finance bill ikikuja, there was no public participation. That is just a basis of shooting it down. So if the constitution is followed, it doesn't matter who is holding the office, because itabidi afuate, na kama jafuata atakutana na wananchi. That's what I'm saying. We don't know who will come next. The people are shouting like MIDI are not giving us alternatives. And I'm got another person akuje na weird criteria, and then after 3 years we are back here because we don't have measures. The measure I'm urging us to take is this. We will get Ruto out of office in 2027, not anytime earlier, number one, unless he resigns on his own. Number two, the cabinet is gone. There must be a cabinet. He will choose. We focus on the constitution. When we are vetting the cabinet, parliament, are we satisfied by the nominees? If no, what do? We have the power here now. Tutasema huyu hapana na huyu hapana na huyu hapana, until we are given people we believe can deliver to what we want. Come 2027, whoever is coming in, because clearly maybe Ruto is not coming back, I don't know. These are the same people who will start telling us the way ametoboa. We will insist that whoever gets there, kama ni Kibe ndio rais, we will tell you we want to be governed by the constitution. Unachagua namna gani? Umebalance gender vizuri? Hapana, rudi mpaka balance venye constitution inasema. Umechagua mtu competent, anaelewa hii field? Hapana, rudi mpaka tupate. Hiyo constitution ndio njia. So I'm just saying, yes, let's find modalities of getting a new cabinet to approve, because we have the power now clearly. Hata president akichagua na I said don't worry about Raila, because already Azimio peke yake imekuwa ni shida, na akienda huko pia itapata hiyo shida ya president itamfuata. That's not a big deal. Let them sit down, bring whoever they are bringing, but Gen Z and these other people who believe that the country must move forward, yelling will not help us. Moving forward without tactic will also not help us. I can't go and remove Ruto from the office. I remove the ministers from the office. I remove the PSS and the parliament, senate na MPs from the office, then tukuje tuangaliane hapa ati sasa what do we do next, ati tunakuja kudeliberate. That's nonsense. Who runs a family like that or a country like that? We move with systems. We are going to emphasize on constitution. Wacha Ruto achague cabinet yake, but we will vet it together this time. Hatutalazimishwa na watu incompetent because ni ameleta. That's a solution one. Focus on that. Solution two, whoever will be holding that seat, anything you introduce, public participation. And when we speak, you listen. And when you don't listen, this is the forum we'll use to deal with you. The same applies to MPs. When they are coming to the ground, we will tell them, in this bill, this is what we want. Go and represent us that way. If you don't, tutakusalimia nyumbani. This is how we are going to work. So Gen Z, kama uko na maneno ya kusema hiyo, mnasema introduce 2 billion whatever, talk to your MP, leta kwa parliament, scrap the CDF, hiyo pesa ipelekwe hivi na hivi, education ikuwe free. These proposals azifanywangi tu kama ni mtu anaukota kitu kwa barabara. This is a country run by systems. So ipelekwe pale, idebatiwe vizuri, tunaona nani anatu represent, nani ako contrary opinion, what do majority say, the way this was yes, no, we agreed with the no, the yes people, we are greeting them. The MPs know so well not to go against the people right now. So let's be focused, let's find solutions. The constitution is the solution. Kesho tutaweka Kibe anatusikiza. Once umefika pale, power na bodyguards utatusahau. After hapo mnatoa Kibe mnaweka Gunia. Gunia anasema mimi ndio kiongozi. Ukifika pale, once nimepata power nageuka. What will help us to make sure that Kibe doesn't turn is because the constitution must be followed. Kibe must know so well that if I don't follow the constitution, these guys are going to come for me, and that is the only way we are going to survive. Hii ingine yote ya kusema aende, what can you do? Sasa sipoenda, unajua ati atoke aende, utaki kusikia mtu mwingine waende aje. These are systems. We have a country we are going to hand over to other people. Let's entrench the constitution, and then we will be fine. Kibe, that is what I can say. Oh, and of course, let's discuss how we are going to recover once we have the constitution, the reports, and whoever stolen, because hii Ruto mtaka kumuua, yet the billions were stolen under Uhuru. Nobody is addressing that. Even Raila, for Raila to come and start salimia huyu jamaa, every time mtu analemewa anasalimia Raila. I know the salamu are not for free. Every time mtu amelemewa, Uhuru alilemewa hapa, anakuja anamsalimia. Ruto analemewa anamsalimia. What does he know about these things that we don't? Definitely there's something. So that tusisumbuane, once constitution bilioni zilichukuliwa na nani, under who, na zimepelekwa wapi? If they are the Kenyatas are here, the properties are here. Kama ni London, we have international courts which can handle this. Gen Z will push the attorney general, fuatilia 1 2 3. We want to know hii pesa ilichukuliwa na nani, imetufanyika wapi. We want to know the audit. The auditor, the Ouko is there. And when we talk about the alternatives, I just want to mention names. We have Maraga, who has proven his competency. We have Willy Mutunga. We have Gidongo. We have Edward Ouko, the auditor. We have Faith Odhiambo, the lady for Nini. We have Kenneth Marende. These people, their wisdom has been seen. The problem is ni ukabila ya ujinga ndio wakikuja unasema wewe hauna watu wengi, hauna pesa mingi. But now we have learned. We are going to go for the competence, especially tried and tested. Faith has been tested. Marende was tested under Grand Coalition government. Ouko has been revealing these things. We know what he has done. Gidongo exposed Anglo-Leasing. We know what he has done. Mutunga alianza nini? Judiciary. Maraga kamalizia mpaka ka overturn ruling ya Victoria president. It means these people do not fear. They do the right thing. And we have seen them. We urge them that when the time comes, let them go and help us to govern the country. Including people like Matiang'i. They did a good job. It's just that sometimes walilewa na power wakaenda sana. That is why now we are here to control that power. That when you are going overboard, the country will be watching and we have mechanism of dealing with you. Kama huwezi fuata sheria, tutakupiga huko na ukikataa tutakutembelea nyumbani until watu wafuatane. And I'm emphasizing in closing, the law, the men in uniform or the law of our security forces. These people are not your enemies. These people are your brothers. Look at that angle. They need this because once Kenya succeeds, they succeed. They're not against anybody. But every then the police force, they're in the military, they're in the government, everywhere. Those are the people that need to be called out. But the ones that are doing their job properly should be commended. About greeting Ezekiel Koshakahola, I've never had ability must cut across. But what I'm emphasizing on as a solution, my proposal, let's entrench a solution.
Thank you, Gunia. I saw Kenya Daima running to, I don't know whether
Sure. Yeah, I was. He said something. I picked the mic. He wants to. He want. I mean, I was frustrated the whole idea of him thinking in. Remove William Ruto before 2027 and everything. That's something that me and you don't know yet. That's something that we don't know. So him trying to imprint into our minds that aspect, let him speak, say, me as Mkenya, me as Gunia Junior, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. So that's the whole idea of even now going ahead forward, trying to sanitize people who have been part of the system and they have messed up us big time. That it's something that was not resonating so well with me. So what I was saying, what I wanted to inform him is that me and him don't know what will happen tomorrow. So all you should do is wait for what will happen, tomorrow. The problem with people who try to shape the conversation, they want to try to shape the conversation based on their realities, but they don't know the reality of tomorrow. It's their reality is not the reality of most of the Kenyans. The reason why we are on full throttle at this point and doing whatever it takes to make sure that if tomorrow happens, we don't have this regime. And if by bad luck we still have this regime, we won't relent. You get, so the idea of we have learned and everything, no, that is storytelling. We know our problems as Kenyans, and we have decided, no, let's put everything on hold. We fix this country. Once we fix this country, we will have the discussion of who to lead and who will lead us when the right time is up. The things that we are advocating now, like as from tomorrow, is civil disobedience, and tomorrow we'll be out in the streets to occupy everywhere, including the state house, if a possibility happens. So anyone who is predicting or who is pretending that they know tomorrow, I think they are all lying. Every event that have happened in the past few days, there is nothing that there has not been any outcome that anyone has predicted. So let's stay that way. Let's push as Kenyans if we want change. That's what I'm urging everyone who is part of the movement. I'm not against anyone with an opposite idea, but I'm only against anyone who is trying to predict the future, because me and him don't know the future. So that's the something that I feel it's a bit absurd for someone to try to imprint to us that they understand what will happen tomorrow. What they know, it's only based on their past, and that's why I'm so agitated when I see someone trying to shape the conversation for tomorrow. Let the conversation for tomorrow, we'll have it when we get there. You get, I know it's good to plan. It's something that I really agree to, but don't try to shape the conversation for tomorrow, Kibe. Or when I'm saying Kibe, I'm just mentioning your name. I'm not meaning that you're the one who is shaping the conversation for tomorrow. So Gunia, I'm talking to you directly. Stop pretending to be that guy who knows what will happen tomorrow. I am also not pretending to know what will happen tomorrow. Let's talk about what we know today, and we focus on the actions of tomorrow by saying what we can do tomorrow, but not what we can't do, because we don't know what we can't do. Thank you, Kibe.
Kibe, allow me to address this one, please. Let me rephrase my words so that I'm not misquoted to be arrogant and planning and whatever. Let me just rephrase my words and be very candid on it. Mkenya Daima, this is what I mean. We have constitutional ways of doing things. I was just saying that should we decide tomorrow, I'll be in the street to begin with. Let that be on the record. Number two, I'm so tired of this government equally, and I'm part of this movement. I need that to be very clear on the record. I've been on the streets all these days, and tomorrow I'll be there. I need that to be on the record. Number two, I'm just saying that we be careful as we proceed to execute whatever our mandate. This is our right to protest and right to speak out when we feel uncomfortable. As we exercise this thing, let's just be very careful not to set a precedent. Immediately people on the street and bombarding him to leave the office. This will give billionaires and people with strategy. When you are trying to get rid of a car, you don't just get rid of your car and then unakaa unasema now gari gani tutanunua. You have a plan. I am driving a Mercedes. I really resigning today. And when I resign, it is presidency. We are talking about presidency. Only Ruto and Rigiji leaves. These are the guys becomes relevant. When they decide to leave, Ruto leaves with his Rigiji. Where do we go? Remember, we don't have a functioning IBC as we speak. And we don't have credible people heading that institution. Remember, we don't have anything. Ruto will just go. We have questions which are not answered. Tulimwona America, Malona amesign, sijui amefanya nini. Where will we go from here? Even whoever we want to bring in to clean now, drain the swamp. Uko na nani kwa mind? Ni kukuja tu. So I'm just saying, I'm not predicting tomorrow. I was just saying, on my view, can we please have a contingency and say, okay, fine, we have a president. The only way to get president to office is through election. the person we believe can help us. We can have 4 people. It is a call to serve. It's not somebody waking up. These people wake up. These people wake up from nowhere, want to be the presidents. Is why we have a problem. But when the country needs you and calls Natembea was there, his record is clean. I said, and no, remember, nobody's perfect. They are human. But I mentioned Natembea, I mentioned Matiangi, I mentioned Maraga, I mentioned Mutunga, I mentioned people that can help us. So Kenya, I'm not predicting or bulldozing. I was just giving my view and I'm saying we move with a strategy. Let's have a so that we don't set a bad precedence where we'll have a problem. If I sounded rude or arrogant or planning, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. I was just putting across my point and giving suggestion. And I said we lean on the constitution to help us with whoever we will elect and someday forget how we got there and start doing funny things. We remind them that the constitution must be adhered to, and that is the only security we have in this country. Anything sort of that, they will forget and will be in this problem again. Mkenya, I hope we are on the same page now.
A quick one, Kibe. This is what I want to put out there. I'm not against what you're saying, Gunia. The only thing that I'm against, there has been a lot of civic education. That's one thing that I want people to understand. So there is not going to be a power vacuum. That is something that we've established. Then the other thing is the reason why we are pushing for all this. We are pushing for all this for us to have systems that are each. It's the government, the constitution has defined when Ruto and G are out, how do we proceed? We already have the manual for that. And the other aspect is with the several civic education that we've had in the past few days, we've already established that if we've taken a debt that cannot be traced to Kenyans, then that's liability of individuals. It's not liability of the Kenyans, because what has affected the quality of life in Kenya, it's the debt. If out of the 100 bob that Kenya has, 70% of it goes to paying the debt. And then we realize that all these debts that we are paying, it's nowhere to be seen. So that's an individual burden. So let them bear the burden.
Mkenya, let me just ask you so that we can have the clarity. Are you telling me that the contracts and obligations or the undertakings that the President Uhuru did or whatever when he was the president, Ruto has an opportunity of refusing them? Are you telling me that the contract that Ruto has signed as a president of Kenya, representative of the Kenya Republic, the next president, whoever is taking over after Ruto, will have an opportunity of saying, no, that one I will not honor because it was Ruto, it was the president then, or he signed them not as William Ruto, but as the president of Kenya? And that's why I was saying, we agree Ruto must go. The only place where we differ is how and when. No, I'm not comfortable with them. Because remember, if you are these not the people who passed yes or no this finance bill? Are these not the people who have been disappointing us and selling at house every day? So I would rather deal with an individual, William Ruto, or a president than dealing with 300 plus people who are some people that Kusudi have never seen them in parliament since walichaguliwa. In how we pick our enemies and how we wage war. We don't wage war on many fronts that will be overstretched, that we can't survive. We can't put an assault on National Assembly, uko kwa executive, judiciary umefungwa vita, and it is difficult to win this war. And that's what I'm saying. We pick our enemies clearly. And now the enemy went, the next step in Igani, when we are going to get rid of the president, what do we have in store to help us? That's what I'm saying. And then it's easier to deal Wetangula to be a smart speaker at all. Even Kingi, I can't rely on Senate tries, but I can't rely on them. So I would rather we have a strategy. We want to go to Canaan, all of us. We just differ on how are we getting there. So what kind of leadership do we want and who do we have in mind? I was suggesting that as we go after Ruto and we want him gone, let's have somebody to replace him. We have people in our minds that once we get rid of him, we say, okay, fine, you go there, help us as we proceed. That is the only thing I'm saying. And please, I don't trust the MPs. That is why I'm not comfortable leaving the leadership kwa mkono ya Wetangula, because remember, Wetangula will be controlled by the same forces. That is why the suggestions are coming from outside. I'm not touching on any politician. These people are all compromised. They cut deals all the time. If you know that, then you won't be talking about National Assembly. Ruto, Raila, Uhuru, Ini, the same, Wetangula, this is the same crop. So if you are sweeping Ruto, sweep Uhuru, sweep Raila, sweep Wetangula. All those people should be going. Even though you're draining the swamp. But as long as we're still talking about Ruto and Wetangula, the same person, different hands. Remember, they deal together, they are together here, he made him speaker. So when Ruto speaks, Wetangula will listen. When Uhuru speaks, Ruto listens. When Raila speaks, they listen. This is how they work. And that's why I was suggesting, let's get people from outside.
Allow me to correct you on something, Gunia. Allow me to correct you on something. Right now, we've established.
Please do.
Yeah, allow me to correct you on something. I want you to understand for Kenyans to be liable of debts, now external debts that we are having, this is what we've established. You get? Because this is not information, it's information that was out there, but it's not information like a common Kenyan like me who is in the village of Sekuru knew. You get? This is what we've established. We've established if a debt cannot be traced, if a debt was taken by President Uhuru Kenyatta and it was for development and everything, and it cannot be traced on our books, it is money that went to individual accounts. It's not money that came to us. Then Kenyans can disagree on paying that debt because we pay that debt with our taxes. That is what we've established right now. I think you've been joining spaces on civic education. I think that should already sink. It's not William Ruto who is saying we are not going to pay. It is us who are saying, okay, William Ruto took this. Yes. Was it approved by the parliament? Because our constitution has mandated how we are able to take loans. You get? So if the Kenya needs 300 billion, then you go ahead to take go ahead loans. And if we are taking a certain loan beyond our limit, was it approved by Kenyans? Did we vote for that? There is that aspect. So I want you to understand that this is not, don't take it from a perspective of me as Gunia Junior. I want you to take a perspective of it as 51. There's 51 million. How many guys do you think are representing us? If we can count, the most are the MCS. They are at 2,222. Okay, let's go to the next number. MPs are roughly from the constituencies 287. Okay, Ongeza nominated and everything, it's a number that can't go beyond 500. Then Kenyans are 51 plus million. That is what we are talking about. So when you are looking, what you can do is Gunia, because that has been the biggest challenge. But also in Africa, we want to solve 50,000 mile starts with one step. It starts with one step, and the next step is removing Ruto. Don't worry about any other conversation. Stop worrying about those other things. No, you are going to kill yourself. Kenya has so many problems. You are going to die while you are trying to figure out, sasa tukitoa Ruto, who are we going to put in place? There are already over 50 million Kenyans, and most of them are very able. Be it Mariam, be it, okay, and not so much, but that's unnecessary for this conversation. But the thing is, don't put yourself in the conversation. Don't worry about anything else. If Ruto wants to lead a dead country, let him try to do that. But don't worry about an expert in all things. Same as in Kenya Daima, I'm not an expert. So I've limited myself to only one thing. Ruto must go. What's my role for tomorrow? Ed.
I'd given you guys till 4 o'clock, and I just unceremoniously close it. Dr. Mjulus. And the only reason why I was telling to add these guys because of that stupid name. Well, what am I doing calling another man Dr. Mjulus? Seriously. I go. We don't know anything.